All right. Well, welcome. Um, Hopefully I didn't lose too many people. I know there was more people registered. They probably got on and was like, screw this. Okay. All right. So basically, with this call, it's not about me, sitting here teaching stuff. I've got the new build lab in the works. I'm like really slowing down, going fast with it. I want to make sure that it's, I've heard a lot of people out there, they're wanting, they're wanting a little bit more detail within the teaching, and they're wanting a little bit more like, step-by-step stuff. And so I'm working a little bit closer with that in the new version of Build Lab. And then we're really focusing even more on, really building out high ticket programs. So that being said, any questions you have about anything, just ask and go. And if down the road, when it gets a little bit more people getting on, and sometimes they get on the morning shift and not the evening shift and whatever. So, if people start interrupting each other's stuff, we'll just have to do the raise your hand feature, and then we can do it that way. So, with that being said, though, just ask away and let's get her doing it.
Cool. Well, yeah, I guess like I just joined up this week and I just sort of had a few questions and thought I'd just pick your brain a little bit today in terms of how I can sort of set this up and do it right the first time, or as good as it can be. So yeah, I guess like, so I am a newborn photographer, so I'm offering a service. It's an in-person service. But I'm wanting to sort of really automate that process in terms of getting people booked on and giving them all the information that they want up front. The thing is that people want information and they want all their questions answered. So I really like the idea of sort of creating this video to answer all of those questions on their time when they've got time to watch it. So do you think, I guess, your thoughts in terms of businesses that you've worked with in terms of services and brick and mortar, and I don't have a free training per se to get them like that sort of hook. All I've got is information to them, get them booked in. So I just thought I'd get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so it's a really great question. And as far as, the funnel, it's just those 4 pages. You're going to send all your traffic to that landing page, get them to opt in. And then you've got this video that's going to basically outline everything that you do for them and show them how to buy your stuff, right? Yeah. So how do you get them in, right? Because we don't have a free training. So what you would do, and I'll give you an example. So there was this carpet cleaning company, and they were out of Arizona, and they were kind of new to the scene. And it was like, well, what free training are we going to do? We're a carpet cleaning service, right? And so it was like, how are we going to generate leads? So what they did is, and they used this lead generation tool for, I think, almost 2 decades. And they got the business doing millions of dollars with this lead magnet. And the lead magnet is 12 things that you need to know before hiring a professional carpet cleaner so that you get the best results and don't get hosed, basically, or get your money taken from you. Mm-hmm. So the lead generation that you would want to probably lean into there is 7 things that you should know about hiring a, newborn photographer, or, whatever, however you go about the keyword on that. Yes. But 7 things that you should know before hiring a photographer so that you make the right choice and you make that one moment not messed up, basically, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I would lean into. And then when they opt in for that, you basically want to educate them on those things. And by educating them on those things, you're doing 2 things. Mm-hmm. Number one, you're really providing them a lot of value so that they can misstep any kind of accidents that would happen. Or, when you go to get somebody to do photography for your child or, your newborn, it's like, that's pretty important, right? You don't want to mess that up. So you're really going to bat and being super helpful for them. And mm-hmm. obviously somebody that would opt in for something like that is your perfect person. Yes. So because your landing page needs to scare away everybody that's not your perfect person.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I would really lean into, because when you're doing your content and you're sharing, you know, all the different things that there are to know about what it is that you do, you can always say, oh, and by the way, if you're, you know, thinking of hiring a newborn photographer, you might want to know these 7 things to watch out for before you do it, or 3 things, or whatever. So
Yeah.
I put together a free training that takes you through the things that I, as a professional, things that I would look out for in terms of before I hire. Okay. And then you
Yeah.
can even have like a little download, but you really don't need it. They'll just watch the video. And
Okay.
that's what I would do to generate leads. You know,
Okay. Cool.
help them
All right.
avoid accidents.
Yes, yeah, totally. Which does happen, because I mean, I only had a client in here yesterday saying I had to convince I was trying to explain to my husband that you don't just hire anybody. Okay, so if I did a bit of so come over and learn the 5 things that you need to know before hiring a newborn photographer. Then do I incorporate in that video then all of my, you know, this is me and this is how I do things, or is that a separate sales video, or is that
Nope.
my VSL? Like,
Yeah, so it's going to look like this. Let me share my whiteboard here. So if this is the front of the video and the back of the video, the end of it, if you will,
yeah,
it's always like broken up into like 3 core pieces here. So it's like hook, story, and then offer, right?
yeah,
So in the beginning, your hook is, you know, I like to do this too. So when it's really important. Well, that'll drive me crazy. Whatever, that was better, wasn't it? So the thing that I always like to do, like right here, this little piece, like right before the video even starts, the hook, is I go, all right, so I'm glad that you came to watch this video about the 5 things to avoid or look out for before hiring a newborn photographer. But before I jump into that, I actually sent you a bonus training into your email. Now, I've probably never emailed you before. So you're going to want to go check your spam box, junk folder, promotions. I don't know
This
where
is
it
all
might have went.
sounding very familiar.
Yeah. And go in there and go check your email, because there is a bonus training in there. And the bonus training could be like, you know, and you're going to tell them what the bonus training is, right? So you're going to say how to pick out the clothes for your newborn, or, you know, whatever one of the major like important steps is. You want to give them like a little, it could be 5-minute training or, you know, video that's going to help them. Just something that is included in the process where you can give them extra little gold, right? But it's got to be good enough so that they go get it, because here's what happens. When they get the email, it will most likely go to the spam, junk, or promotions folder. Okay.
Yes.
Now, not always, but most likely. In the beginning, anyhow, when you start doing it, because you haven't earned the right to land in inboxes yet, because you have to build up character credibility and all of that with the email gods. Okay.
Yes.
And so if you can get somebody to go find that email, click on it, open it, click inside of it, that registers to the email gods that, hey, from now on, if this person sends an email, make sure it goes to the person's inbox.
Okay. That makes sense.
Now, I also, in that first email, when I do send it with the bonus training, which I put the bonus training in the PS of the email.
Yep.
Okay. I always then say in the email right away, I'm like, hey, can you also reply back to this email so I can make sure that you got it? Because I got some other cool stuff I'll be sending you. Okay. Because if they, you know, find it, click on it, click inside of it to go watch that training, that's one thing. If they reply back, it's like your next email goes in the inbox.
Yeah.
Okay. So we always want to try to do that right here in the beginning. It's like a little 10-second blurb, right? Then the hook is, so what is the first thing that you need to know? Right? And as you're doing that, okay, so you it's kind of like the mixture of the hook and the email go get it thing. As you're doing this, it's basically like, so here's number 1. Okay. So the first thing is you need to whatever. Okay. Now, the reason why this is important, and then you're like, and that's why we do it this way. Okay. So everything that you're going to propose to them as to what to look out for, it's kind of like you're going, and that's why we don't do that. Right. Or that's why, so at the same time, you're kind of like giving yourself these credibility points. And then once you get through the 5 things where you're like, this is what it is, this is why to avoid it, and then this is why we don't do it kind of thing, or this is what to do next. This is what we consider kind of story. And then right when you get to this part here, it's kind of like, so now that you know these 5 things and we've worked these out, you're probably wondering, okay, so now what? Well, you've really kind of got 2 options. You can go look for somebody like this, right? And it'll probably be harder, take longer, be more expensive, et cetera, et cetera. Or you can just go with us. And if you go with us, here's what you can expect, right? And so you share with them like who you are, what it is that you do. Now, with your person, they're probably scheduling like a call, right?
Well, see, this is the bit that I was hoping to avoid, and I did want your thoughts on this. I only work part-time. I have 2 tiny munchkins at home that I just, my call time is just very limited. If I'm in the studio, I'm shooting. I kind of wanted to be able to provide them all the information, and after they'd watched the video, to go to the next page where it had a little bit more pricing, blah, 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 and book now. And
100%. You can do it. And listen, when you do it after they, wherever you do it, the thing that you want to do is just with the program that we use, system.io. Oh, I froze up. I've noticed I bought this new inverter thing, and every time I've been freezing up. Okay. Anyway, it just kind of pisses me off. Anyway, so damn it. It just sucks because when you're doing a training and you're recording something and all of a sudden you freeze, it's like, God, and you're not paying attention. Anyway, sorry about that.
That's good.
If they click and go over to the sales page, you just want to make sure that that machine is going to tag them properly. Like, are you going to use system.io?
Well, I have a full website that I've had for many years, so I wasn't going to.
Okay.
But I'm happy to be persuaded otherwise if you think that it's...
Well, yeah. I mean, it's for one, it's extremely inexpensive. Okay.
Yeah.
To use it. And 2, what I really like about using it just as a featured tool. So you can keep your website just the way it is. I wouldn't mess with it, but you want to drive everything to the funnel. And here's why. And you would want to create that funnel with system because, or anything that where it can tag the thing that the action happened, because in the follow-up sequence, which is super, super important, it needs to know whether or not they bought or not.
Yes, correct.
So if they bought, it tags them. Otherwise, it's going to keep sending emails to follow up with them. Okay. So if you can do that with what you've got, that's fine. I just know that system does it very simply. And you can connect it with any kind of payment things and whatever. But what you want to do when you're building this thing out is you really, really want to make sure that it all leads to one place. And I see this mistake happen so many times. People are like, oh, that's, I'll just, and I'm like, listen, I'm telling you, please. So it's like, you've got your website over here, and then you've got like your funnel over here. And then you've got traffic out here that you're sending from, whatever you're doing, ads or organic or both or whatever, right? So what a lot of people do is they'll send them to the website first, and then they'll link from their website to the funnel, which not a bad thing, right? But it's like this step right here can cause a lot of confusion and not moving, okay? So a lot of people will get to the website, and it's like, if you went to, a restaurant, and that you sit down, they hand you the menu, and what happens when the waiter comes and they're like, oh, no, come back, we're not ready yet. Why is that? Because there's all this stuff to choose from. There's all these things to look at. But if you go to like a yogurt place, you go there and get yogurt, and it's like, because there's no other option. So if you drive traffic straight to the funnel, then later in the process back here, you can always they'll go check out your website. But the big thing we want to do, because almost 99.99% of people, and this is like a proven objective number, when they go to a website, they never go there ever again.
Yeah.
So if you're not capturing that traffic that you work so hard to generate,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a nightmare, and it's going to be slow, and it's going to feel like it doesn't work. But if you can get all that traffic you're generating to go to one place, and then you can get them on your email list, and then you can start emailing your list all the time, it's just like, it's almost like somebody turned the lights on into a dark room. So what I would say is, just in right now, let's not worry about the website. Just leave the website as it is for now.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's just focus on this 4-page funnel, get that thing set up. Let's focus on the video on this page so that it strikes like a hammer, right? When people go to that video, they want to go to the next page, they want to buy, right?
Yep.
And once they get across this magical barrier here and they give us their email and they go into an email list, then you can send them to your website 1,000,000 times over and over, showing them all the different things they can look at, because now we got them on a list. Okay.
Yeah.
If we want to get action from them, we just feed the fish in the barrel, just sprinkle some food on top. They'll come to the top smacking. That's literally how it is. And if you can just focus on that, that's going to be the best thing. So whatever process you have for that, if it's whatever software you already know how to create that with, I just know that with system.io, it's like very inexpensive. I think you can, matter of fact, even start for like free. And then, once you build up a list or whatever, and I just strap System.io to Active Campaign, and like, it just works really nice. And then I use Stripe to do all the functions. And I mean, literally with these 3 things, you can create like a 7-figure business. So that's the process that I would focus on. I just see so many people trying to like sidestep it in some kind of way. And I'm just like, this is how you catch fish.
Yeah. So on that, so you'd still have the button underneath your video to say, if you want to book now, you don't have to listen to the video, and then take them to that third page along. I would sort of have all of the information that they kind of need. Like, here's my pricing, here's where I'm located, and just lay it out really simply. Does that make sense?
So when you're trying to get the sale without a phone call.
Yeah.
Okay. How much is your services?
It ranges. My bottom package starts at $795. My average is $2,200.
So what I found is it's really difficult to get somebody to spend over $2,000 without a phone call.
Yep, that makes sense. Totally.
So what I would do is in your case, I would have a couple options. Okay. So I'm going to pull something up here. Let's just look at this in real time. Okay. I'm going to pull up my funnel. Let's go to funnels.
Usually I would just get them to book a session, and I would say, book in for your newborn session. It's $100, or book in for a few sessions and it's $150. And then they purchase their photographs after they see. So they don't have to on the day. There's no risk. And I am happy, if you don't like your photos, I'll give you $100 back. There is zero risk to that. But come in, have your session. But I want them to know how much the photos are going to be afterwards. I'm not interested in having them here if they're going to look at me and be like, this is not fair kind of thing. Right. That's not my.
So that video is going to do all of that.
Yes.
Okay. So here's your simple 4-page funnel, right?
Yep.
Okay. So on the video page, if you'll watch my video page here, you get here and there's nothing going on, right? Like you can't do anything besides watch this video. But if we hang out here long enough, this button appears.
Yep.
So what you can do is you could have your video on here and you could get the brunt of what you're doing in there. And then it can automatically appear underneath, and just on the same page here, there it is. See, there's this button.
Yep.
So you could have 2 buttons under here. One could be like schedule a call, And then when you schedule the call using Calendly, if you've got, your little ones and you've got a tight schedule, it's actually kind of neat because it makes you look like you're really busy.
Yep.
And you are. So you can just have a couple gaps that they can schedule in. And that actually forces down and makes it more scarce and urgent. And I like to say in my videos, I'm like, listen, we only let you schedule 4 days out, or I'll actually only say for the next 4 days, we're opening up our schedule to take in calls, which is true.
Yep.
But the way I'm phrasing it makes it sound like it's just the next 4 days.
Yes.
And then we do only let them schedule 4 days out in that case. And then I say to them, now, once those spots are taken, then they're taken, and I don't know when the next spots are going to be available, which is true.
Absolutely.
So now we've got urgency, scarcity built in, and that really gets people to take action. So number one on that. And you could have a button that pops up later on that. You could also have a button that says, I get it. I'm ready. I'm ready to get this thing right now.
Yes.
They could click on that and it could go to sales page. And on the sales page, you can really reiterate what you brushed upon in your video here. A lot of people try to kill the cat right with this video right here. And it's like, this video just needs to really inlay everything that needs to be known in order for them to be able to make a decision. And then in the follow-up emails and in the daily emails that they should be getting from you, because you're creating content about how you can help them solve their problem, that's where the action really starts to happen. And that's when they hear the stories and see the stuff and, all that. And then that's what really brings it home. Okay. Because
this is really only going to convert, as you said, around about that 2% of people that are ready to buy.
Yeah, it's to get somebody, and this is just the average, and I'm not saying it can never get any better. It's not better for some others, but the typical, person that comes in off of a piece of content or even an ad and goes through the funnel and buys right then and there is about 2% of people that hit that landing page.
Yep, totally.
Before they even opt in, just 2% of those people. And you can reverse the math back. Like, if you know your conversion rates all the way through, which I have, standards on all the conversion rates, you can actually reverse it backwards and know exactly how many people you need to get to the landing page each day to hit a specific sale amount.
Yeah, which makes perfect sense. And so that makes perfect sense about what you were saying about go to your inbox and get my free training. It's exactly what I did when I went through your funnel and I clicked on it, and then your emails came into my inbox. If somebody doesn't go and get that free training, it's fair to say that my follow-up emails will also go to their spam as well.
Not all of them will, because here's what happens. As you do that, because you'll have people that will reply back, and if you're getting leads the right way, meaning they're not just like, oh, do, like they're coming to your landing page because you said something that they're like, I want that.
They are pregnant and they do want that.
Right. Yeah. It's like, they're not like, oh, where am I? Oh, I'm on this landing page. Like it's not like that. Right. And that actually happens because people get this, they hear email works and you got to build a list. So they're like, I had a guy yesterday. He's like, I bought this software. It's $500. It just scrapes emails off the internet. And I've got thousands of emails. I'm like, bro, they ain't going to open that. I'm like, nobody wants that shit. You are going to get blacklisted, man. What? You said the email for every email. I'm like, so it's how you build it. If you're doing your content and you're doing everything and you're like, guys, listen, I just don't want you to get, hurt, or I don't want you to lose that moment, that perfect moment. And that's why I put together these 5 things that you want to make sure you watch out for or ask before you get your photos taken of your newborn, and so when you do that, then they're like going there wanting that. So when you do that, as people are opting in, let's say that not everybody replies because they won't. And let's say that not everybody goes and grabs the email because they won't. But the majority that do, it starts to give you brownie point stacks. And eventually your emails that didn't go into their inbox originally, even if they didn't reply, even if they didn't click, will start going to the inbox because you've earned the right to now land in it.
Okay, so there is like so the email gods thing actually is like,
they'll be like, Yeah, you can. It's like a bank. If you start building credit with the bank, you can go to different banks and get money, right?
Yeah.
And it's like at first they're like, oh, you don't have enough credit. And so it's like that. It's kind of like that. You're building up these like, you know, on average, people do find your email and do want to look at that. And that's why I do that initial part in that video. And it's super important that you really do that, because at the end of the day, you really are trying to help them.
Yes.
So if you bring that across in your content and you bring that across in that video, they will.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But you will start showing up, and that's even on people that you didn't start showing up before.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important. And I tell people, try to email every day. Listen, think about this. I'm on your list, you know, and I got on there for the right reason, because I was interested in what you had, right?
Yep.
And you're just, you know, like I do on the whiteboard here or whatever, just grab your phone. And I mean, people overcomplicate the crap out of this, right? And I surely did for a long time. Just have a damn tripod, have a easy mic thing like I show in some of the training, like just that easy set, just click, and just shoot a video each day, just sharing one little nugget of something. If every day that you open my email, it's like just this happy little helpful nugget of like value, all I'm going to do is earn your business.
Yeah.
So and if you upload each day on your channel and stuff like that, it just, everything about your business, your message, everything that you do just keeps getting better and better and better and better. It's like going to the gym every day versus not.
Yes, totally. It's easy to do. It's easy not to do.
Yeah.
And
But some people are like, well, I don't need to do that every day, or I don't want to do that every day. It's kind of like saying, well, I don't want to grow every day. And maybe you don't. I don't know.
and I guess like as time goes on, you can just recreate that content because you've got new followers as well.
Yeah. And what's going to happen is, I mean, there's only so much you can talk about, right?
Yes.
So you just start coming at it from all these different angles. I have been talking about those 4 boxes for like almost 20 years now. It's insane. And it's like, but I just use different perspectives. I mean, literally, I get people telling me I sound like a broken record. And frankly, it's kind of a compliment, because I'm like, then I'm really getting some resonation here, because this is what it is.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's just different stories. And I mean, for you, it's just really neat too, because you can be like, you know, I'm thinking like different poses here, top 3 poses, top 3 scenes, you know, different thing, everything that could possibly be involved in helping them do this, you would want to help them do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And if I didn't go down the book a call road, could the second button be, you know, send me an email or a text, or you know, if you want to call or get in, you know, or do you think it has to be a call?
No, not at all. You could have email me in there for sure, right? Like I do on my website, and I get emails from people all the time. Like
I send you one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
signed up, yeah.
Absolutely. So you can put like, you know, buy, schedule a call, email, make it as easy as possible for them to buy from you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. All right. So, and if I go away this week and kind of plan it out a little bit, can I come back next Friday and sort of show you what I've got and get your advice before I send it live?
Please. And here's how I would tell you to outline the video. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, everybody's different, so you don't have to follow this to a T, but this is what I found works really well. Open up a Google Doc, and then just go from the top of the Google Doc, like intro. Okay. Just type a 1-sentence intro or 2-sentence intro. Next, you know, the hook. Okay. Now that, you know, you told them about the inbox, you're kind of like, all right, so guys, in this video, I want to go over these 5 things with you. And, you know, towards the end, I'm going to show you like some really great options that you might have, you know, kind of hook them to the end, basically. And then
okay.
just go into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and what you're going to say, just briefly. Just try to keep it to a sentence if you can. Okay.
Yep.
And then I put like transition, and I'm like, okay, now I want to transition to, here's your options. Okay. You can go about this on your own, or you can come to us. And then I always talk about like why it's important to, do this now. But even up in the beginning, after the hook, I like to kind of talk about some of their problems that they're up against to begin with. Because when you share with somebody what their problem is and they've never met you before, all of a sudden they trust you. Because how else could you know that?
Yeah.
So,
and I guess that's where I get stuck, because I'm like, there's not really a problem. They don't have to get this done. They
it's
just
not about a
want.
problem of having to get it done. It's a problem of, I already decided I want to get it done. Now what's my problem?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Who to choose, how much to
How to
spend. I mean, yeah.
what to I just had a baby. I don't know nothing about this other part, but I know that I want to have that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So the
The
problem is,
problems aren't
I
like,
want photos. How do I do it? What
yeah,
happens? What's
how many
involved?
should I get? What should all the, how do I determine if they're worthy? Am I spending too much? You're basically coming down out of the heavens, and you're like, whoa, like, oh, you're wanting to do that? Well, guess what? And you just give them like all the answers, and they're like, I love you. And then when you tell them, and I actually do all this stuff, they're like, well, shit,
Yes.
I'm just going to go with them. And that's,
Yeah, because I guess my biggest hurdle is being, I'm probably one of the most expensive in Melbourne, in my city.
that's perfect too, by the way. Nobody wants a
Okay.
cheap watch.
Well, yeah. This and the people that do can just go
Yeah.
aside.
Either be the most expensive or the least expensive, but never
Yeah.
be
Okay.
somewhere in between. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. I like being the
And you're
most
better to
expensive.
be the most expensive.
Yeah, and it's good, like I have this sales point is that I am a nurse. I'm a pediatric nurse. I've worked at the Royal Children's Hospital in the emergency department looking after these babies for 15 years.
Oh, so I can send my baby to you and not worry about anything, and
Yeah,
they'll be safe.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Okay. So do the hook, give them their info, tell them what then they can come for me, and then give them those options of a call, an email, or book now. And then on that next page, just really outline it really clear so that they can just book there.
Yeah, just think like a 12-year-old's trying to buy this for their parents, and it's all up to the 12-year-old to get it right. So you would ask yourself, like, what is everything that they would possibly have questions about? And I just play the who, what, when, where, why, how thing on it. Okay. They're asking like, well, who's going to do it? Is this for me? Like, who's this person? Or what are they going to do? What do I have to do? When do I have to do it? When do they do it? What happens when I'm there? Like, try to answer as much of that as you possibly can.
After I've done the 5 what to look
after
for.
you've earned after you've earned the credibility.
Yes.
Right. So like by you sharing with them, hey guys, when you're driving down this road, there's a pothole right here, and then you're going to go around it like this, and you'll be, that's how you're going to do that. Once you've helped them navigate, they're like, oh, this person's cool. Thank you. And they're listening now, right? You've earned that respect. And now it's like you can get into all that stuff. So you're probably wondering, like, what do I even think about now? So I've got this. I want to do this. Now what happens? Well, let me share with you kind of what it is that we do here and why we're the best at this, And so, and they've already thought that you're the best now, because if you know all these things that they shouldn't do or should not do, obviously you wouldn't do that to them.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, because now they're like, yeah, she just told us to avoid all of those things, so certainly she wouldn't do that. Right? So you've kind of, that's why it's such a great lead magnet, right? It's probably one of the best, like, X things to watch out before you do Y, right? It's like, it's going to work forever, right?
Yeah.
10 things to know before you ever attempt to use AI. Like anybody that, it's like that stuff will always work.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. And so put it all in my Google spreadsheet, put my 5 things, put my one-liners. And then
I wouldn't use a spreadsheet unless you like spreadsheets. I just use a Google Doc. and
Document. Yeah.
just kind of break it down and get it out of your head. And then you can kind of like Lego piece it or stack it however it needs to change a little bit. And then we'll look at it together.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've literally just done bullet points on a Google sheet on, and this is the other thing, try to get it all on one page.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. I would really, I can sell my program on one page. You certainly can sell yours.
Yep.
Okay. So I try to get it all on one page. Your opening, the value, and then basically what to look out for, and then all that stuff. And then here's what it is. And then here's how to buy it and why. Okay. And just try to go from that. And then we'll get to, and I show you one in my thing. I'm pretty sure I got the one in there under the VSL video.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Just try to make one of those.
Yep. Yes. No, you did. It's got the outline and the 5 dots. Yeah. I remember it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Do that. And then, because as you're doing it, those are just like reference points, and you're going to kind of freestyle with each point.
Okay. And just make it super casual and just like
super casual. And then just talk to that mom or whoever's the decision maker typically.
Yeah.
Just talk to that camera like you're talking to her. Imagine, or him, whatever. Imagine they're just sitting there across from you, like holding their baby, or whatever, and you're literally just talking to them, and you're sincere with them, and you want to keep it probably under 20 minutes if you can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking like 10 minutes.
Yeah. And then when they get to the page, if they decide they want to just go sign up or get a session or whatever, just make the page kind of reiterate and really just hit the high points of what's most important. Yep. And I promise you that is going to be solid for you. And then as long as you're consistently putting out content, you're going to do great.
Awesome. And sorry, just one more question. Your thoughts on, so asking them, obviously you asked for a name and an email. Thoughts on asking them their due date? Am I asking too much? Because I feel like that information really helps me in the follow-up if they're, and knowing whether I keep following up or not.
I don't know what would change if you knew my due date.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to like just
no, but I'm saying like I don't think that's anything. I mean, is that personal?
No, not really personal. Just I guess, is it an extra barrier? Like
I think it is an extra barrier.
Yeah, too many questions, I guess.
I don't think it's really going to adjust any conversion for you. Like I wouldn't put it on there. Because here's the thing, like you only need to know their due date if you need to know their due date. And what I mean by that is a lot of people are like, I want to get the phone number. I'm like, you'll get their phone number if you deserve their phone number.
Yeah.
You don't want, if you get a bunch of due dates, it doesn't really do anything for you unless you were going to individually follow up with each person individually. But we're putting them into an automation.
And I guess if it's not relevant to them anymore, if
they don't want to sign up, they're not going to.
Yeah.
That's the value of like what you're doing here. You're going to have this machine operating in the background, converting people while you're doing whatever else. Right. So knowing that, unless you got deep into your automations and you're like, if anybody had a due date, and it would tag all this stuff, but that's just complication that doesn't matter. I don't think.
Yeah. I guess it's just kind of like if you're due in, January and I'm still sending you information, telling you to book and you've already booked somewhere else or whatever.
Well, they're either going to, they're just going to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Okay. They're like, this isn't relevant to me anymore. Unsubscribe. Yeah. And that's kind of a neat thing about what you do. It's kind of a self-list cleaning type thing.
Yes.
And then what I do after a while, it's like every 90 days or something. A good thing to do is just go into your email and just be like, if nobody has clicked or opened in the last 90 days, just delete.
Yeah.
Because here's what happens. If you have all these emails and you're getting low open rates, that tells the email gods that you suck.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to only keep people that are engaged. And in one of the, who do you use for email?
So I'm with HubSpot. My CRM is HubSpot.
Okay. So in HubSpot, I have this thing called like, it's an engagement tag sequence. And basically if anybody, I can basically email anybody that's engaged. And so what happens is if anybody opens or clicks an email, my system automatically tags them as engaged. And then once they're tagged as engaged, I can, when I email, say only send this to people that are engaged, or only send this to people that have had recent activity. Does that make sense?
Yep, totally. Yep.
So that's something where it's like, make sure you're doing that, because you want to make those, email gods or whatever happy, because that's how you get your core follow-up and stuff like that.
Okay, awesome. All right, I'm gonna go away and do some work. I'll come back to you.
Yeah, please. I mean, that's what this is for. And that's, go do some stuff, come back and be like, and if you get stuck in between the calls, that's where you use the support group, just whatever your question is. And I'll send you back like a Loom video.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate your help. Thank you
bet.
so much.
This will be a recording in the...
Yeah, I will go back.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank
you
so much. Thank you so much. All right. You have a good one.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Okay. So does anybody else have questions while we're on here? Mustafa, Brendan, anybody?
Yeah. I'm just really struggling with my outline, and that what you said about the sentences and putting that out there was helpful. And I just want to see if you could elaborate even more on it, just because there's so my thing is I'm targeting business owners that are, I mean, people that want to become a payment processor, or learn how to make residual income with payment processing for their business. So I've got like I've come up with a few things that were like as far as like 10 things that you want to what did I say? I have it outlined here. Hold on.
I'm trying to find this photo that I took of one of the processes. Aha.
There we go.
Found you.
12 things you will need to become a massively successful digital payments expert. This is like kind of like the title or whatnot. And then, one of the things I kind of going through is, strong work ethic, knowledge of credit card processing, effective.
So when you say that, not to interrupt you, but to interrupt you.
Yeah.
People will do a lot more to get out of a burning building than they will to get a 6-pack of abs. Right. So what I mean by that is whenever you're trying to, and it's just the way it is, right? Any time that you're trying to get somebody to do something, you want to do something where it's in the sense of like, how to get away from pain, not here's how to get to pleasure. It's like, here's 10 things that you can do to get a Ferrari versus here's 7 things you should never do if you ever want a Ferrari. Right? That one's like getting away from pain. The other one's like, oh, someday. Like there's a big difference, right? Like the whole abs thing. Here's 3 things you can do to get abs, or if you ever want abs, never do these 3 things. Just turn it around, and it's going to be a huge, huge difference. Let me show you this little VSL demo thing that I put together. Can you see this little thingamajigger? Okay.
Oh, yep. Demo.
Yeah. So you hook them, of course, always like up here in this little part. You always want that little, go get the email thing.
Yep. 10 seconds.
Yeah. So you always want that. But then after the hook, it's like the way you're thinking about this process in your mind is like this. because everybody has a current situation and then everybody has a desired situation. Your solution comes in between that, because that's how they got from their current situation to their desired situation. And then now that they know, the whole thing, it's like, what are their options? What happens if they don't change? What happens if they do change? What is it like to work with you? How do I start? Tell them to start and remind them that if they don't do it now, they could miss out. Right? So
Yeah.
it's like, demonstrate their current situation. Now you're wanting to, and what's the outcome for you? Or what are they trying to do?
I'm trying to get them to become their own payment processor, become their own, Stripe, their own company that basically processes payments, for other companies, other
And they're
businesses.
doing that because their whole life they've dreamed of doing that. No.
The whole reason they're doing this is they want residual income that's, as long as that business isn't going forward, it's going to
What's
pay them
one
out.
word that would describe it?
Perpetual or income.
Money.
Yeah.
So right now you're wondering, how the heck can I make some money? And when I start making it, how do I keep it coming? Well, that's what I'm going to share with you in this video. Now, you're probably one of these people, and we're right here. That was the hook after this thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're here. Let me shorten my little thing. Now we're here. You've probably tried all kinds of things. Who knows what you've all tried? Maybe you've done this, that. You could name
marketing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Okay. And you're still going, man, I just don't even know. Like you're just like feeling frustrated. You're like, maybe actually it's not even maybe this isn't even going to happen for me. I don't know. Maybe these are the cards I was dealt. Have you ever felt like that? So you want to demonstrate their current situation, right? And then you go, so that's why I'm here to share with you these 3 major things, these 5 major things that you never want to do, or that you want to completely avoid if you ever want to do something, like you never want to make money or whatever, right? And so you would go through those things, but as you're going through those things, you want to constantly be like talking about how, whatever those things are that they need to avoid, and whatever those things are that you're talking about, it needs to always be in the way that it's going to be you being the hero. Like your product is always going to be the hero. It's like, a lot of people, they try all these things, but then they find out it doesn't have, residual income in it. And that's why with this process that I'm about to share with you, what actually works, it has that in it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like every time you set up the wrong thing, don't do this, here's why. And that's why we did this. It's always that process. Here's the thing that you don't want to do. Here's why you don't want to do it. And this is why we did this.
Yeah. This is why we created.
Yeah. It's like because you talk about their current situation, you demonstrate how you fixed those problems. And then you say, so once you've got this set up, let's look at what this actually looks like. Now you have to paint the picture of what it looks like to actually be in that place. And like, for her with the photography, it's like, that's why, look what these can look like, but that doesn't necessarily always have to happen in the VSL. That's why I said the follow-up emails is where you can really demonstrate a lot of like the actual stuff like that. But on your sales page, you'd have examples of what it is. So demonstrate the outcome. And then you're like, that's when you just roll into, and this is all happening in one page. Like you might have this all laid out. These 11 things are kind of like all on one page. They're just a sentence or two. And then that triggers, that doesn't mean that you're just saying one sentence. It means that it prompts you and triggers you to kind of talk a little deeper about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm just screenshotting. I know you record this, but I want to.
No, I got you. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
And then you're always giving people options. Like Here's what happens if you do this. Here's what happens if you come with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I always, and when you're doing, when you're doing this like options thing, you're kind of at the same time, you're going about it where it's like, you know, who this is actually for. There's somebody that's ready to XYZ. So you're saying who it's for and who it's not for when you're going through this little section right here. Okay. So you've got a couple options. You can keep doing what you're doing, but the person that really, you know, that this works the best for, that this is going to do the greatest for, is somebody that's an action taker. You know, they want to do, so you need to know like who it's for, who it's not for. And sometimes I just even put that on there. I'm like, so here's your options. Now, who's this for? This is for somebody that there's somebody that's going to make a change. You know, there's somebody that actually wants this type of thing. They're tired of this type of deal, or they've got skin. They want to put skin in the game and take action. They want to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, so you're probably wondering, okay, well, this sounds good, Mike. So what's it like? I mean, how it is, you know, how is it to work with you? Like, you're probably wondering, like, what's it like to go through this process and work with us? Well, let me share with you what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so now you're probably wondering, well, how do I start? Okay. For small business, I believe.
Really? Any
I mean, what do you mean, Mustafa? Like, I mean, this is, you could sell a helicopter doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. Credit card fees for big businesses are just as much as for a small business, right?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, this isn't about big or small business. This is just about how to get a solution into a consumer's hand. Yeah. This is just sales, period. And then, you know, literally take them through how to start. Recurring payments is huge. Yeah, absolutely. And then tell them, you know, you got to tell them to go do it. Even the most affluent, intelligent, you just got to be like, all right, so go down below right now and click the button and get started. Oh, and by the way, we're only opening up our schedule for the next 4 days. And once that's full, you know, I don't know when the next spots are going to open up. So if you're serious about this, you need to go do it now. And we only let so many people into our program at a certain, you know, per time, you know, what, all the different things that you can say there, but you've got to add those three things of urgency, scarcity, because urgency will get them to buy now. Scarcity gets them to spend more each time. And you got to take away things, right? So you've got to build that into your offer. Those are the key elements of a good offer.
Yeah.
A good offer, there's only so much of it per time. And you've got to get it now if you want to get it at this price before it goes up. Or before the bonus goes away, or the bonus changes. Okay. Otherwise, they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'll get to that later. Okay.
Thanks.
So, I mean, do you feel like you've got the next step to go?
Yeah, I do now. You know, and I think just also helping me with the flipping that to sound. I think that really kind of that helped me right there. I mean, that just really.
I got you. And here's what you need to do. You need to practice doing this. Like I always call it like the whiteboard test.
Yeah.
I like to just write stuff out on a whiteboard sometimes, and then just turn the camera on and tell myself in my head a few things. Number one, I say to myself, well, I'm just talking to one person, and you want to imagine your perfect ideal customer. I mean, the perfect ideal customer. You want to imagine that person is the only person that you're talking to, and you're helping them, and you're talking to them just like I'm talking to you right now. And you look into the camera as if you're looking right at them, and you speak through the camera, right? Number one. Number two is I always, even in my videos, I'm like, does that make sense? Because I want them to be going like this in their head, or I want them to like lean forward. You know, I want them to like take, because when you ask questions, man, it seats different in the brain. Okay. And then the third thing is when you tell yourself it's just a practice run, almost every time that I do that even with like, I'm always like, all right, this is just a practice. And I end up crushing it with that one.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just want to get up and get it out of you a few times. Like, it's so funny. People have never played, you know, never shot a bow and arrow before in their life, let's say. And they want to learn how to shoot a bow and arrow, and they'll be pissed off. They'll shoot it the first time they've ever shot it, and it will be shit. And they're like, oh, this doesn't work. I'm like, you've never done this before. You think you're just going to shoot one time and just split the arrow out in front? I mean, what? Like, doctors have to go to school for like 10 years and then apprentice for another 2 years and then practice on a thing for, I'm like, you think, I see this all the time. I did a video. I put my VSL, it didn't convert. I'm like, huh? Of course it didn't convert. You've never done this shit before. You've got to practice. The only reason I'm the way I am on video, I've shot thousands of videos. I don't even know how many videos I've shot. Thousands of videos. And a lot of them never made it to the front lines, right? It was like, shit, nope. And but you got to practice. It's like shooting baskets. But if you think you're just going to not practice, imagine it in your head, and then you're just going to pop it out, and it's going to be like, bing, like you're crazy. All right? You're crazy. So you got to practice it. You got to get your... And what happens is that's why I encourage so many people to go live. Live is not about, it's the best strategy, although it works really well. It's about being nailed on the spot with questions and having to respond to them without looking like a dipshit. And so what happens is you're forced to become something that you didn't even know you were. And it forces you to learn your message through actual talking to the marketplace. People are like, how do I find my market? How do I know what my people want and need? I'm like, go hang out with them. Go live with the internet and tell people who you're trying to help. And the algorithm will go, what'd you say? And I'm dead serious. I was on a live. You were possibly on there with me. I was on a live. And I'm talking to a guy that cleans Persian rugs and makes Persian rugs or something like that, right? Some kind of rug dude. And so I'm talking to him about rugs and cleaning rugs. And I'm in Wichita, and this guy was from, I don't know where he was from. And all of a sudden, this other guy gets on who's a rug cleaning machine person from where I live. So looking for marketing. I'm talking about Persian rugs, marketing, and like rug machines and shit. And this guy jumps. I'm like, okay, all right. Because the algorithm's listening to you the whole time. Think about what the algorithms want. The algorithm is just a matching machine. If you're talking about spaceships all day, people that like spaceships are going to get thrown in front of your live and thrown in front of your content. Because what the algorithm wants, it wants to match people up that are similar to the same. It wants to match people with the content that they would like, because what happens when you do something that you like? You do it again. And you come back, and they want you on the search engines so that they can serve you advertising. And they want you on the social media platforms and everything so that they can sell advertising to people. And the more concentrated your content is on a particular topic or subject, the better for the social media platforms, because they can say, oh, all of these people over here talk about just sewing machines. So if you want to sell your sewing machine needles, you can run your advertisements on their content. But if your content is all over the place, you're worthless. It's like, we don't know what the hell you're going to talk about next. So how can we run ads on your platform? on your channel, on your thing? How can we drive people to you that are going to like your stuff if we don't know what the hell you're going to talk about each day?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's why
'cause
it's so important to use the same types of hashtags that are in the same circle or aura of what it is that you talk about. You know, and hashtags aren't that big of a deal, but they're not going to hurt you if you use a couple of them, right? And your titles and your descriptions and what you say more than anything is impacting who's watching your stuff. Think about how you found me. It wasn't because I came by your house and slapped you in the face and said, hey, how's it going? It wasn't because of that, right? It was because you found my content somehow. I'm not running ads. So that's what you need to think about. It's like, okay, this is my lane. This is what I'm talking about. And so whenever you're doing your videos, whenever you're doing that stuff, practice being that. Michael Jordan wasn't like, you know, or Tiger Woods isn't like, I'll do this golf thing and then I'm going to try to do like Formula One racing as well. It's just golf. That's all it was. I see that so many times too with people. They'll get into a course. They're like, yeah, I'm going through 7 courses right now. I'm like, holy shit. You are doomed. Like you got to get with one program, finish it, complete the actions, and get into that and just put blinders on. I used to do that too. I had like 20 gurus I was listening to on the internet. I was reading 10 different books about it and all this stuff. And I'm sitting here going, blah, 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 blah. I don't even know what to do because they're like, do this, go here, get one of these. You need one of those and all this. And I'm like spending $50 million a day on softwares that I don't even know what they do. Like I've got all this stuff going on. And then I finally just was like, about ready to jump out of a window. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to find somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. And I'm going to shut everything else off. And I just put the blinders on and went with it. And that's when things happened. And I was like, okay. And then once you've got the grip of what's going on, and then you can go to anybody and you can recognize the first principles and the patterns inside of it. Right. But you gotta keep it simple, but practice the videos, go live, practice the videos. That's why I tell you to do content constantly. Right. It's not about, well, no, you just want to post once a week. Mother, you suck at content. Like go post 10 times a day so that you can figure this stuff out. If I shoot just one basket a day, you know, one free throw a day, and then the guy I'm competing against is shooting 100 a day, who's going to win?
Yeah.
So it's like, what else do you got going on? Do you really want this business to take off and go? Well, then you better do it just once in a while here and there. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're going to do it, show up, you know, and do it and just focus on it and just get that consistency. Cause really that's the killer. People have the right stuff. They've got good stuff. They're just not showing up because they're not showing up. They're sitting there thinking about what the content should be.
Not taking that.
How about just create it and suck? You know, you can think about and theorize about all the different ways to shoot the arrow. How about just, nope. And start learning, you know? So cool. That's like, just go shoot a VSL video. A lot of times that's why I try to like, that's why I try not to get so step by step. Like in my past program, everybody's like, but you said right here to put it just like this. And I'm like, I thought I was helping you. Here, you're over here. Like, now, how hard do you press down on the pencil when you fill in the box? I'm like, what? Like, just fill the damn box in, you know? Or like, I'm like, just go create the video. Just go shoot it. Pretend that you don't know what you're doing and just go shoot it. Pretend somebody just was like, hey, you, and dragged you out on a stage and threw you out on the stage and you fell to your knees. You got up and they gave you the microphone. You're like, hey guys. So anyway, I do this, that's what you want to try to do in that first VSL. And then you'll be like, holy shit, that's terrible. Okay. I would probably say this next time. Oh, guess what? That was a recording. You can. That's what you need to do. That makes sense? All right. Yeah, don't get lost in the details like that. Later, you'll get patterns going on. You'll start to, that's the big thing. That's like the ultimate thing is like being able to recognize patterns and then create patterns. Like you'll just see it. It's really cool. It's kind of like almost anything that you do. Like if every day you made a pan of blueberry muffins, by like the end of the month, your 30th pan of muffins, you'd have like this little flow going, you'd be like, like you could really nail it, and it's like, as you keep doing it, same with this stuff. It's just like, why can't everybody make 10 grand a day? I mean, are you guys freaking idiots? Like, come on, that it starts to get like that, I mean, I want to say that myself, just like, oh, but it does. It starts to become that. And you're like, wow, this is pretty cool. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I'm fucking bald and I got gray hair and I've been doing this for 15 years. That's why. Oh, okay. Got it. Like I literally remember like at 19, I'm like, I'm going to do this, like it's just like now I'm an overnight success 15 years later, but I'm not, it doesn't take that long. Once I finally found the right course, I was like, God, I would still have hair. I probably wouldn't have as much gray in my beard if I'd have just bought a course 10 years ago, But no, I'll figure this out myself. Let me YouTube one more thing. Let me opt in for one more PDF, Yeah. You guys are smart.
And is your advice with the video to just keep it super simple? Like I feel like I want to go cray and like, put some photos and like that's what I do, like show them this photo and show them this photo, but just keep it simple, stupid, like. Yeah,
so what I would do with you, because your solution is actually photos, right? So like with what you do, I would say and I don't know what those 5 things are to avoid or 3 things or whatever, but what I would do is I would maybe like for the bonus training thing, I would put in there like the 5 best positions or whatever, make sure that they do this, that kind of stuff. But on the place where they get to go actually see where to buy and sign up and stuff, I would have like, hey, here's one of the ones that we did that was just so great, like that kind of stuff. Or you can always use them as examples. You can be like, yes. A lot of places, they don't even do this, and like, look how cool this looks. This is what we do, that's, you want to give them examples like that. But you're in a place where, yeah, you can do some overlay. But on the sales page itself is where you really want to show like testimonials, examples, I had a guy, he was selling, I think he made like custom bicycles, and I go to his sales page, his website, and there's no bicycle picture. I'm like, you don't even got, you don't even got a picture of the bikes that you make. Oh yeah, I guess I should do that. I'm like, like what is wrong with you? Like show them what you're selling them, It's
yeah,
like, yeah,
I want to go the other way. I feel like I want to put too much information, but do I try and
let me ask you this. If I give you a ton of options, how much longer is it going to take you to make a decision? If I give you a ton of information, you're just going to be like, oh, that's great. Let me go think about that.
Yeah.
Right. The core of what you're doing is you're going to get me pictures of my baby that I love and want to remember forever. Right. So let's not forget like that at the end of the day is the key goal here is like, and I think it's like that is in like the relationships niche or something for a certain way. It's like what you're doing is it's a love, it's like, that's my love. That's like my life right there. So that's really what you're giving people is this like loving memory. Right. So you don't have, they already want it. Like the only reason they're watching your video is because they already decided they want pictures.
Yes.
So you don't have to like drill into that too much. They're just there to like make sure that they get the best opportunity to get that without like spending too much, going to the wrong person, you know, these kinds of things. It can be very simple, you know. It's not, we're not selling rockets here or, you know, science equipment. It's like, yeah, I get it. I want, but you just want to be easy with like giving them the avoiding things. And then it's like, all right, listen, like if it was me, I was like, all right, listen, look at these photos, right? Here's what we will do for you. Here's some of our best angles. If you want those, right? And you want to have a great experience, you know, that's kind of how I would go about it at the end, and then just push them to go by. And then of course, have like your pride and joy pictures that are up. You know what I mean?
Yep. Okay.
I like
I
the
just
ones you
wasn't
got
sure
behind
whether
you,
I should,
right? Like,
yeah,
I would do your video right there, you know, or like you could have like the light in the back, like go buy a Cabbage Patch Kid and have it laying back there, you know, a fake baby, and just like, no, I mean, maybe that'd be hilarious. But you could, you know, like you just like me, look, I've got a rocket and mountains, because that's exactly what I do, you know, rocket and mountains. So it's like, just have your little thing. I love what you got there. I would say just keep it as simple as possible. And if it doesn't work, make a new one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was just sort of going, do I need like, you know, like video, you know, I'm just going to show you a little screen roll of a few photos or something like that, like, and kind of make it a bit more technical, or do I just talk?
I would just talk, but you could do that. You could say, here's some of the best angles. Here's why we like these. Because I'll be honest with you, like, I don't think anybody, like, nobody gives a shit what kind of technical stuff goes on.
Yeah, no.
At the end of the day, I just want to be like, oh my God, I love this picture. That's it, right? Like, look.
I think pricing as well will be a massive win for you. Maybe you can do some packages and stuff, family, pets, and kids and stuff like that. You can mix and match and play with the pricing a little bit. I think that will make a big difference for you.
I like being the most expensive. You get what you pay for. You're getting a fully qualified pediatric nurse of 15 years who specializes in newborn photography. I don't do, you know, like bring your dog, sure, but I don't do for like, you're coming to a specialist. You're not coming to I do family and I do pets and I do weddings and I don't
think
do
your
that.
pricing is great. I think that you just need to show them why.
Yes,
absolutely.
Totally.
That's right.
I mean,
yes.
You know, why? And people want to know, like, they don't even care about the product part itself outside of it's got to work. Like, they want to see show me something, right? But they care more about why you do it. They care more about the idea. Like, what got me into this was I just love making parents cry. You know, like whatever it was that like got you in. Like, that's, people want to hear that story, right?
Yeah.
And where you become like really good at storytelling and stuff is where you really start to change the game.
Yes.
Right? Stories sell, facts smell. If you can get people like engaged in the story, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that can take pictures of babies, right? Why would I come to you? Because I connected with you. I want to be in that room with you. I want to work with you. So many people, you know how many people do what I do?
Heaps.
Tons of people. You know why people come to me almost every single time?
Do they like your personality?
Yeah, number one, they're like
assertiveness.
Yeah, it's the three things that I get. It's like, hey man, I like that you'll actually probably slap me around a little bit. Nobody really does that. So I get that. And then I get like, you just make it so simple. You're like, you just simplify everything so simple with your little whiteboard and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm not trying to do that. I have to do that. So it's like, it's just, you know, and then they like that I'm crazy, basically. Like that I get on here and I'm just like, blah, you know, but that's why people come to me. But we also get real results here. You know, it's like, I just spend all my time. I'm like, I got to make this super simple so I don't screw it up. That's like my philosophy. I'm like, I don't need, like, If it doesn't need it, just take it out of it, right? That's kind of my philosophy. Like, cows don't have fingers because they don't need them to survive, you know?
Mhm.
It's like, that's how I look at this whole process, you know? So, with your video, I would just start, it's like start naked and then add a bracelet and then maybe cover these. And then, you know, just like, it's like we started with a leaf. You know, now I got a chain on and all this bullshit. It's like, you know, do we really need all this? You know? So it's like, I would just start little and then work your way up, you know?
And when you say start, you mean like make a video, put it out into the world, and then kind of add to it? Like or do you mean like make the video and then let's look at it before you push it out there?
I mean, I don't think it's going to matter either way. You're obviously, if you make a video and show it to me, I can be like, they might want to know this too.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, maybe you blah, blah too much. Here's also something. I used to be like, okay, you know, when I was like learning how to do it, and God only knows what I'm screwing up right now, right? I always think that I got it dialed in, and then like I'll go back like a year later, I'm like, you're a friggin' idiot. But I think that's good, right? Because you've grown, right? But what I've noticed is I used to always like roll my offer in at the end. There's nothing wrong with getting it out early, because
Mm-hmm.
some people, they don't give a shit. They just want to buy it.
Yeah.
I've had a guy one time, he's like, he just emailed me, and I have a $9,800 product. It's like my Build Lab Pro, where I work like super custom with people, right? They get like 5 personal Zooms with me. I help them literally like put everything together like myself, right? And it's like all happens in 5 Zooms and blah, 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 blah. This guy emails me like 2 days ago, and he's like, well, I like the Build Lab. He's like, but I just want you to like, you know, get on and do it for me. I'm like, well, it's $9,800. He's like, all right, cool. And just paid for it. And I'm like, it was like a 2-sentence email. Okay. So sometimes people they don't care, you know, he makes tons of money. So it's like $9,800 to him is like $100 to us or something. Right. So like, he just doesn't even care. So it's like, so like when you do your video, just think about this. If some lady, like we're here right now, and some lady's like, hey, will you take a picture of my baby? Like, what are you going to say to him? You know? Or they're like, hey, I want to get pictures done of my baby. What is it that, you know, can you tell me about it? That's what you want to answer that question.
Yeah.
That you want to be like, you know, you're probably wondering, this is after you give, because here's the thing. When you do the lead magnet,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to get something to get them to opt in. If you go, hey, opt in right now so I can sell you some shit on the next page. They're going to be like, they're going to be like, nope. I love buying stuff. I just hate being sold.
Correct.
Okay. So what you do is like, you're like, hey, if you give me your name and email, I'm going to help you not make a mistake that could be critical. I'm serious. People are always like, well, I'm just going to go straight to the sales page, bro, and, you know, get sales. And I'm like, yeah, well, it doesn't work like that.
Gotta help.
Like, even people like, I've literally, you can buy Mountain Dew and it's like, opt in for our free da-da-da-da-da. It's like, you've got to get people on a list, or you are going to just like work in a sweatshop trying to get customers all the time. Right? Like, you've got to get people on a list first. And if you're going to get them on a list, you got to offer them something of value first. And if you don't deliver on that value on the next page, you're an asshole.
Yep.
So if it's like, here's 5 things to avoid, you have to give them those 5 things first. Then you can be like, so you're probably wondering, how do I get this? How does this work? What do you do? How can you help me? That's when you just do your quick little video. Okay. I mean, just start out that way. Like if somebody's like, here, explain what you do for people on the whiteboard for us. You got 10 minutes, go. Think about your part that way. But in the beginning, the first like 5 minutes or something, what are those 5 things that I need to watch out for if I'm hiring a newborn photographer?
Yep.
Okay. And before you jump into the 5 things, you better tell me about the bonus video, the top 5 positions, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, those are the little recipes. Now you can put the butter on the muffins afterwards, but they'll be just dry, right? It's like, you can put the ingredients in after you bake the pie, but I don't know who's going to eat it. You know, you could eat it, but you know. So it's like, that's what you want to think about. It's like, what are the ingredients here to this deal? Those are the ingredients that get people to take action, get on your list. Because the truth of the matter is, you could say everything right. It could be perfect. People just don't buy that first time all the time. Like, most people buy after they've watched your little video 10 times. They've thought, you know how many, I like watches, unfortunately. I hate that I like watches. Because like, I like to look at, it's stupid, right? It's like, anyway. So I've got like, in my shopping cart, I've got like 20 watches that I could just buy right now. But I'm like, yeah, no, and I've done, it's sick. I'm like, all right, I got to get shit done. Like, it's disgusting, right? Like, so it's like, that's what people are doing too, you know, in not that same way, but it's like, people they do that. They ponder over it. But that's like, if you're constantly hitting them with value from you, it's just like, they're going to go with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I mean, the thing is that they're pregnant. There is an end date. Like, you know, you have to.
These are all things that are actually really on your side.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Book now.
No, it's good. I just get it done. Like, go screw it up. Yep. Like, I know Anna, she does the dog training. She shot her video, threw it into the group, and let the group criticize it. That's what you need to do too. That's what everybody in here needs to do. That's what I did in the group that I was in. And I didn't like some of the responses. I was like, you fucking goddamn it. Like, you know, but it's like, well, that's true. You know, but what you find is you'll hear people starting to say the same shit. And you're like, all right, I should probably, you know, I should probably tune that up a little bit. And that's how you carve that out. And you just got to swallow your pride, you know? But that's what you want to do. Get that video done and be like, all right, guys, go ahead, you know, and just, that's what we do. And we're like, oh God, this is awful. You know, just quit. No, but just
give up now, guys. Give up now.
Whoa, this ain't for you. No, but like, just, that's what I would do.
All right.
Okay. Kind of use that philosophy and just go about it loose. Like, seriously, you think that mom that's got one on the way, she's like, oh my God, I don't give a shit what camera you use. Yeah. I don't care about the temperature of the light.
Yes.
You know?
No.
Oh, cool. It's like, you know, you like pie? You know, that's what I would do. Show them what it is. Like, you know, get the price across, you know, because you are expensive. So just put the price. I wouldn't even call it expensive. It's like, I love what Jim Rohn says. He's like, it's not expensive. You just can't afford it.
Totally.
Yeah. So I would just do that. And then you're going to find out. You'll know. You'll be like, well, that ain't working, you know, so you got to change it. It's so crazy too. When you nail that video, it's like literally like turning on the faucet. I'm not even lying. Like, I was selling, what the hell was it? It was a training similar to like what I've got now, but it was more of like a in the moment type of thing. And I did 20 different VSLs that were all like 40 minutes long. And it was like, man, I must suck. Like, I was sitting there and I'm like, Jesus, like I've lost my touch. I was like, I literally suck at this shit. I was like getting worried. I kept going. And then finally I was like, all right, I just sent it off to a bunch of different people. I think I even paid like 2 guys that were like professional, blah, blah, blahs. And like, they came back and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I was like, you know what? I was so pissed. I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to shoot it. And I literally just sat in my chair. I'm like, listen, guys. And it just was like, boom, boom, boom. Sales. I was like, come on. But when you find that message that just chink, it's like a lock opens. I'm serious. Like, it's worth it. I'm telling you. Sometimes you just got to recreate that. You got to keep doing that video and try to do it different each time, and then try it each time. And you got to give it a chance to live too. I like the 100-person rule. If 100 people watch your video, something, if it's right, something should, at least 2 of them should be like reaching out or scheduling or emailing or something, right? Or maybe even a purchase. It's probably closer to like 1,000, right? But when you're trying to like get it going and find something, you'll know, because like you'll do a video, they'll get 100 views and it'll be like maybe crickets. You'll do another video, 100 views, you got like 2 emails back. You're like, oh, okay. And you'll keep trying to hone it in, and then eventually you'll find it. That's why I use Wistia for my VSL videos, because I can see how many times the same person watched the video. I can see how many times the same person rewatched certain parts of the video. And I can see what part of the video gets rewatched the most. And I can see where very intricate pieces where they fall off. And I mean, a lot of video players do this, but Wistia, for some reason, is a really great player. It's a little pricey, but I mean, it's, you know, in comparison to what we're doing and making and stuff. But like, it's one of them things where I'll watch that video, and if it's, you can just, after a while, you can just feel it if a video is good or not. You're like, all right.
Yeah, cool.
And you can just keep fixing it wherever it stops. If there's a bunch of drop-offs, you go back to that part of the video and you're like, and then you watch like, oh, yeah, I would have left too. And you cut that part out and you just like put something else there, or you don't put anything, or you just cut that part out and skip to the next part.
Yeah.
But it's
All right. I'm going to make my 1-page doco.
Yeah. Do that and just go after it and just get it shot. It's gonna, listen, it's probably gonna suck. Okay. I'm just being honest with you. But
no, I'm okay
might
with the
nail
honesty.
it. You might nail it. I mean, you might. I've had some one-hit nailers, you know, and I'm like, all right. And then the next time you go to do it, it takes you 40 tries, right? So just shoot it, get it out there, and see, let the market. It's like a test. It's like the scientific method. It's like little of this, little of that. Outcome, feedback. Well, maybe less pepper, you know. It's like a recipe. You know, last time you made the lasagna, Mom, it was delicious. This time, like, I haven't been able to get out of the bathroom. What the hell did you do? Well, I put too much paprika in it. You know, it's like that kind of shit. So, all right. Any other questions? What else you guys got?
Yes,
I'm just going to eat my lunch, so I'm just going to pop into the background.
All right.
There is. Hi, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so I have recently, after a long period that I've been shopping around, there's hundreds of them talking about the same thing out there, but very confusing. I've been attracted to the circle that you have had at certain TikTok, and there's so many arrows going out there. And you mentioned like you're just sitting inside there, just going everywhere around. This is a moment where I will have to subscribe right now, and that's what I have done. So now I have a question regarding what I'm doing. So I'm in vocational training, and my course is considered a sticky services. I would say that everyone would need to get a certain time a certificate or qualifications, so he would be able to do what he's doing for a living. I'm trying to adapt your model to a short course or two and see how things will go from there. It's a very competitive market, but it's not as innovative. So I'm just wondering if you have had the same situation with anyone who is in education industry. We do so much calling, so I have my soft phone in here. I use Pipedrive as well. So it's kind of how to merge what I'm currently at with the ecosystem that you already built for many people. So if you can have anything to say about that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, like, in the process that you have right now, what are you doing? Like, what is where do you think the bottleneck is? Is it in attracting new people? Is it in converting the people that you're attracting, like where's the, because I'm trying to understand, like, what is it that you're doing exactly?
I think that I would have a very high number of existing clients. I'd say maybe 200, 300 people that I've been dealing with them for years. I lose contact with them because they just come at certain time and then they leave. You know, they got qualified and so forth, and they just move on. They will recontact me for an upgrade for the same qualifications, or they change career and they need another qualification or and another training program. Uh, so I have a very good material of an existing clientele, grandparenting, and I'm looking forward definitely to have new clients as soon as possible, or
Got you.
as much as possible
So
ongoingly. Yeah,
you want to convert new people. You want to get new
absolutely.
customers. Okay. So how
Yeah.
are you currently attracting people?
I'm currently reaching them via word of mouth. I have lots of contacts in the market existed already, so I get so much referrals, word of mouth. And I believe that I'm not investing enough in that because I would have to show up at every single call. So for them to feel safe enough and go ahead and get the deal done. Even though I have my coworkers or and employees, they want to entertain them. You know, they want me personally to talk to them because they have had this experience with me a year or 2 years ago. They know me by name. You know, I want to talk some stuff. So that's
Okay.
the case. Now I wanted to get more independent in terms of approaching new clients, and I want to go and diversify. I don't want to stick with the same
Genre of people.
clientele.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I just
niche.
want to get out. Yeah, so I would be in the education, but I just want to get out of this. Maybe we are concentrating more on community health and care industry. Now I want to move towards tradies and businesses and things like that, business admin, business development, marketing, HR management, stuff like that. I want to diversify my clientele demographic too. So I'm kind of stuck in there, and I'm just trying to get something echoed that will help me out to do that in my own time. Yet my existing client will be looked after by employees or and co-workers.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, there's really just the three parts to the process. It's like,
Mhm.
we've got to get traffic, and how we get the traffic is going to determine how we get the customer, right?
Yeah.
So when we're getting traffic right now, you said you're just primarily word of mouth.
Yeah.
So we've got to get out to a new marketplace, right? Now, can you
Mhm.
help anybody from anywhere?
Uh, yes or no? Yes, if someone interested to study overseas, mostly in Europe or America, actually in Europe and Australia. So if someone wanted to go, let's say, to Spain to study in a university, I can help him regardless where he is. Same way with Germany, same way with Australia. So I
So, I
do
mean,
know
because it's a virtual training, right?
it's a virtual training or and admission. So if a year 12 graduate wanted to go from somewhere in Africa to study in Spain, I will be able to help him virtually, actually. So I might help him out with the prerequisites, and when he go, he needs his actual file all
Got it.
the way till the end. So he get admitted to certain colleges or and university and so forth.
Got it. Okay. So what it sounds like for me is we need to attract that type of person
Hmm.
to a particular type of funnel. And then in the funnel is where you're going to do the job of selling this thing so that they feel comfortable within buying it. How much is it?
Good question. So 800 to 2500.
Okay.
That's
So I mean, you're going to probably need a phone call for that.
I do all the time. I got my soft phone going on.
Yeah.
That's why I got this.
Yeah, no, I got you. So I
Yeah.
mean, and then obviously at some point, if you're, how many calls are you doing a day right now?
Less than 20, more than 7.
Okay. And how qualified are they?
Okay, an existing clientele would be convertible, let's say 50%.
Okay. And then
But
what
as a
about,
new clientele, no, they need time. They need at least a minimum of 3 to 5 days, maximum of a month or two. They just keep coming back. You know, they just come back. They show up at any time.
or is it because the price?
Or and their decision making, because it's a very competitive market and there's so many options that they have. So they might be able to think for otherwise solutions as well. And
Is
for
there,
me,
can you prove why you're a better option against most of your competitors?
yeah, I have a very sincere clients that I have, and they just showing up every single time, and they also refer lots of people. I would say that majority of my clients, they don't know me, but they know someone else that he knows me.
Well,
Um,
let me say it like this. So what you need is you need to be able to turn complete strangers into new customers, though.
mhm, mhm.
So let's not worry about what you're going to be getting through referrals, because that's just going to happen anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's just focus on taking complete strangers that have the problem, want, or need that you can provide. Right. So,
Mhm.
what would you say? Do you help people make money? Is that what you do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
They get employed.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that's their problem, right? They need to make
yeah,
money, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So in that way, we need to get complete strangers that want to make money to become your customer.
Yes.
So what we need to do is we need to be like, okay, this is you talking right now.
Mhm.
We understand you have these other options. Let us show you why we're a great option for you and a better option. Okay. When you go to do the funnel, like you just need to have that 4-page funnel set up.
Mhm.
You need to have a great video on the second page.
Mhm.
And there needs to be a reason why they opt in, so that you, kind of like I was sharing with her,
Mhm.
about the video photography. That's what you need to do, is you need to ask yourself, or ask them and know from them, what are the biggest things that they need to know to get employed or to get a job, right? Or whatever it is. So it's like, it might be, so you get them employed basically, right?
I get them qualified or and registered or licensed.
Okay,
Or
you
help
so
somebody to get certificate. Yeah.
right. You get them qualified to get the job.
Yeah.
Okay. So now when they come to you, are they coming to you because they realize that they have to get qualified first?
Yeah. There might
Okay,
be a case or and their employment won't be continued unless they get qualified. So they might have a job in place and their boss will say like, you need to get your training sorted, otherwise you can't work anymore. Things like that. Or
got it.
and yeah, these kind of
So
things.
so you're working with people that may already be employed and they want to stay employed,
Yeah. Or and having been employed and wanted to
or
get employed or moving career, moving around with whatever
got it.
happening in the market. Yeah,
So if
that's the case.
let's talk about your perfect ideal person. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are
Mm-hmm.
you are the employers ever paying for them to get qualified?
Yeah, 70%
Oh,
they would
really?
pay directly or indirectly. So he would say like, wait for me, Mustafa, I will get paid next week. Then I would just go ahead. And then I would have to offer a payment plan because I don't want the hook. I don't want to lose the hook. So I would say, okay, you stay with me. I got the file. Yeah, I'll start, absorbing your whatever requirements and collecting and matching and doing all the educational consultancy services. Yet you would need to pay this minimum deposit, and the rest of the payment will be done at this day and that day. That's basically what it is. And that's another game because I have to manage this payment plan versus the requirements, and it takes time and
So what I would
sometimes.
do is, to simplify your life, like I think you need to standardize things a little bit more. And what I mean by that is you kind of need to put your foot down in a sense. You need to be like, listen, because what you're doing right now is you're bending to the customer,
Mhm.
And it's
Yes.
causing you to go, like you said, all these different directions, and you're just going, whoa, right?
Yes.
So instead, you need to, it's like, for instance, if you go to a Lamborghini dealership, they're not going to be like, oh, no, I understand your situation. We'll break it
Yeah.
up into 14,000 payments of $20. They don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, either you can pay this or you don't get it. Right?
Makes sense.
Okay. So with you, I would say you need to go 1 payment, 2 payments, 3 payments, worst case scenario, like whatever. Like that's it. There's no other payment structure. Like for me right now, like because my program's going to be moving up to like
I see.
5,800. It'll be
I was
moving up to
lucky
like,
on getting it for I believe.
but
Yeah.
it's, it's going to go up for like to like $5,800. When that
Yeah, it makes sense.
happens, you're either going to pay 5,800
Let's go.
or you're going to pay 2 payments of 2,900, or you're
Yeah.
going to pay 3 payments of 2,000. So, and that's it. And if you can't afford it, then you can't come in.
Yeah.
Now, what happens there is when I go to create content and do those things, I'm going to be attracting a different crowd.
Absolutely.
You just got to find out what is that payment structure, number one. So, because then you can just go, I go into, who do you use to do your payments?
I use a local bank since they are the same country. As for international, Stripe.
Okay, Stripe. Yeah, perfect. So I'll go into Stripe, create a payment plan, etc. And that's it. Okay. And you might be going, oh man, but I can't. I got to get this money, But it's like, you'll get the money because now it's like you've got these standards in place. Now, I'm not saying that every once in a while you don't have to put something special together for that person. Okay. I get that.
Makes
But
sense.
it's like you don't, you do everything in your power not to do that.
Makes sense.
Okay. But when you have a standard, now all of a sudden things change. And your life gets easier because either you pay this or that's at, and then the Stripe just collects the money.
Yep.
You're not out chasing payments. You're not out, bending and doing all these different things. You need to pick a price, stay at that price,
Move forward.
And they only have, a couple options, 3 at the max. I mean,
3.
Like that's it. Like 3 options at the max. And if you can't meet that, then I'm sorry, it's not for you, right? It's not for everybody. Now, assuming you've got just 3 payment options, okay? The next thing is when you take from who you're attracting and converting them into leads that then become customers, you have to then create this funnel that has a particular sales, video in it in page 2. So you're familiar with the funnel, right? The 4 pages.
I'm fully familiar with the funnel, even though I'm a start of the program, but been doing lots of R&D.
So the 4-page funnel that we have on the second page, the only way you're going to get them to become a lead is going to be doing something like this. It's going to be like, to 5 or 3, 5, 7, whatever it is. I'm just telling you where to start. Now, as you get better at this, you'll be able to refine the hook a lot better. But like, I'm going to show something on my screen here. I'll show you like, let me go. This will help. So here's my 4-page funnel, right? My 4 pages: opt-in page, the video sales letter page, the calendar page, and the success page. The opt-in page here, when I'm doing my content, I'm like, guys, I've got a training where I show you how I get 5+ customers each week using organic content, automation, and retargeting. So if you want to learn how to do that, just go check that out. There's a link in the description, or there's a link in my bio, or go to makeonce.com. And I always push everybody to that one page, this one. And if they go to watch the video, they got to opt in. If they go to watch the video, they got to opt in. But they ain't nothing else they can do on this page, right? Yours might be, here's the 5 things that you need to do if you want to get qualified to get your job.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
And they're going to opt in to see those 5 things or whatever it may be. Now we've got somebody on the next page that we know is looking for what we've got. Right? And so then on that next page, all they can do is this: watch the video. And when they watch the video, if you wait here long enough, which is like 30 seconds or something like that, I have my button appear that they can go buy the thing or schedule a call.
Yeah.
So that's, if you don't want to be chasing people, hoping a referral is going to happen, and you want to have control of the conversion process and the attraction process, then what we've got to do is, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that button to show up right away, because what they'll do is they'll get here and they'll click the button and then they're gone and they don't watch the video. I don't
Makes
even
sense.
scroll through the video. Look, it's either
Yeah.
pause or watch it. And some people are like, well, I couldn't rewatch. I had to watch your whole video again. I'm like, well,
You have to do it.
if you can't sit through 15 minutes or 20 minutes, there's no way in hell I can help you.
Yeah.
Right? Or they'll be like, oh, they'll click the button, or I used to not have my button show up till about like here in the later part of the video, like till it's almost done.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh yeah, no, I tried to buy your, I can't get your thing. There was no button. I'm like, you didn't watch the video.
Yes.
And it's like, that delivers your message. And so when you're talking to somebody in this video, I talk about, listen, if you're not ready to do this kind of an investment, or if you're not ready to do this kind of thing, I can't help you.
True. Very true.
But people are scared to say that because they're trying to get everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, if you want freedom, you need to have a schedule. Most people think, well, if I want to be free, I don't have a schedule. I can just float through life and, free. You're the worst, because you're reacting to everything. You've got no freedom. So it's like, by you restricting who can get it, by you like really honing down this funnel, you're going to get so many different qualified calls. Like, you won't be just getting on random calls. It's like, they'll have to fill out a survey before they even get on a call with you, and they'll need to tell you that, hey, are you ready to invest? If all this makes sense, will you be ready to invest on the phone call? You need to ask them, what do you currently make per month? Or if you're going, it sounds like you've got 2 people that you're kind of talking to. It sounds like you're talking somewhat to like the employer, and you're talking to the employee.
That's true, most of the time. And sometimes the employee will introduce his employer so he can pay me
Right.
instead
The
of...
employer pays you, right?
Yes.
Does that happen more than the employee paying you?
Okay, it depends on the domain. So if we have most of the personnel who are in education, health, and community, their employer will pay for them because they are responsible for getting them qualified too, for the service to be continued, and they get paid from the government, so forth. But if they are independent enough, like tradies, builders, plumbers, they just pay for themselves. They literally don't care, and I want more of those.
Oh,
to be honest.
Okay. So you don't want to deal with the big boys with the, I get that. Okay. So how you would go about this is, I would be creating content, like, let's say they're a tradesperson, they need to get qualified.
Absolutely. That's
amazing. To do electricity,
amazing.
to help an electrician, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you're like, so maybe you're this is the kind of content I would do on TikTok, on YouTube. I would literally, just the way you're sitting right now, just the way you are right now.
The tradies qualifier.
Yeah, I'd be like, listen, if you want to get into a specific trade, maybe it's electrician, maybe you want to be a plumber,
builder,
and you have to get qualified to actually get that position. Let me share with you 3 things that are so important for you to do.
Wow, that's a massive thing to do. It's an amazing title.
But you're always doing stuff like that, like lists, here's 3 things you never want to do if you're trying to get a trades job.
Mhm.
If you want to get a trades job, maybe you want to be this, 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 or this. You would list like your favorite trades that you like to work with. Here's the 3 biggest mistakes I see people make when they're trying to get qualified to be a plumber, an electrician, or whatever, right? And then as you're giving them that information, you're always telling them, now, guys, listen, I've actually got a free training that I put together that will show you how we get you qualified and the quickest and best way to get qualified to become a qualified employed tradesman, whatever. Just go to the link down in the description, or just go to this website right here, and then you could say it, you could flash it on the screen, whatever
That's
you got to
massive.
do. And you just keep doing that every day. And then
Yeah.
you're also emailing those videos out to your list that you're building. And people are going, and then you tell in the training, like they go to that landing page and they
Mhm.
have to opt in. So now you've got them on a list. They were watching you on YouTube, but they heard you make that call to action to go check out how to get qualified faster or easier or whatever.
Yeah.
They go there, they opt in, they watch this training where you're sharing with them how to
Awesome.
actually get qualified. And then you tell them, now, who's this for? Who's it not for? If you're somebody that's ready to invest in yourself, you're ready to put in the 1,800, whatever it is, and you're saying, all right, this is the career that I want. This is what I want to do. What I want you to do is down below the video, I want you to click and schedule a call. Here's what's going to happen.
Wow.
When you go to schedule that call, I'm going to ask you some questions to see if you're a good fit. Now, when you get on the call, if you're a good fit, we'll find out on that call, because I'm going to find out where you're at, where you want to be, and I'm going to give you a game plan how to get qualified, right? Now, what you're actually going to do when you get on that call is you're going to be asking them questions to see if they're actually qualified. And I've got a script that I'm going to be doing a training over here shortly that will show you
Yes.
how to handle that call.
Amazing.
But then you're going to be able to look at that survey, because they'll have to fill out a survey before they
Yeah.
can even get on the phone with you. And you'll look at that survey and be like, this guy's not a right fit. So what you do is you email that person. You say, listen, I got your appointment scheduled here. And
Mhm.
and when you create this email, you just create it and keep it in a file. You can copy and paste it, change the name on it. Right. And
Perfect.
all the email says is, it's like, and this call, by the way, right now is recorded, and I'll add it to the member area afterwards. So you can always go
Yes.
back and watch this again.
Thank
But
you.
the email is basically like this. Hey, we've got your appointment. We appreciate you scheduling, but after looking at your survey, I don't think that this is a good fit for you right now. Now, I could be wrong. And if you do think you're ready to get started with something like this, just tell me why you are qualified for this appointment.
Mhm. Yes,
You'll
to
do
work on
less
it.
appointments, you'll make more sales. So what that means is less time, more money.
Yep.
If you make it where they have to qualify, people always want to see if they qualify.
Do you
It's
want to
a
be?
it's a
They
filtering
can do it.
process.
Did you want to show that they
Yeah.
can do it? Makes
Yeah.
sense.
But you can ask questions. Like in my survey, I'm like, how much money do you make per month? How much is a customer worth to you over 12 months? Because
Yep.
I'm asking questions like that because I got to find out, can I actually help this person? You know, do they have what it takes? Do they qualify to even get into my program?
Are the products actually worth it to get your stuff in there and
Yeah, like
run the whole show?
and you can tell if somebody's, at a certain point or not, or if they're ready, whatever. You can just, if you know what you need to know, because you've been doing so many calls and everything like that, then
Absolutely. Yeah.
there's like, it's like I'd say to you, Mustafa, listen, you can only ask 5 questions to qualify somebody. What would you ask?
Good question. And I have it right now.
Yeah.
Initially,
So you would ask those questions in your survey.
absolutely, yes.
And then when you're doing that video, in the beginning part of the video, you give them what they came for. Here's the 3 things that you need to watch out for, or here's the 3 things you want to avoid if you actually want to get qualified as a tradesman and get the job. After you give them that, you say, now, who can help you get this job faster? Who can help you get qualified faster? We can. Let me explain and share with you how we actually do that. as you're sharing with them what it is that you do and how you do that, you say, now you've got two options. You can try to figure this out on your own.
Do it
Go
yourself.
about this yourself. It'll be
We do it with
slower.
you.
It'll take longer.
No
it may not
guarantee.
even happen.
Yes.
And it's going to
That's
be more
true.
expensive, more pain and heartache because you're going to be frustrated what to do. Or B, you can get with us. It'll be faster. It'll be easier. It'll be more fun, less expensive in time and money. So what do you do now? You're probably wondering, well, okay, if I do want to go with you, what do I do? Well, down below, there's a button. You can schedule a call with me, fill out a short survey. And on that call, here's what happens. We get together. It's a short call. And we work with you and we find out where you're at. We find out where you want to go. And we find out what's stopping you from getting there. And through that, we're going to create a plan on how to actually get you there. So whether you decide to work with us or not, you're going to leave that call with clarity. You're going to leave that call knowing, is this for me or not? And that's a really great place to be, having clarity, right?
Yeah.
And so go ahead and click that button down below. We're only opening our schedule for the next 4 days. And when those spots are full, they're full. So I don't know when they're going to open again. So you better hurry if this is something you're serious about. Go down below, click that button, schedule the call, fill out the survey, and I can't wait to talk to you. And that's the end of the video.
Awesome. That's awesome.
And so
that's absolutely
you're going to
awesome.
get, if you set up Calendly with Google Calendar, they'll fill out the survey and it'll also schedule them at the same time. And when that happens, it sends you an email. What's that?
Lots of my clients actually would just call me to reassure that what they are doing is correct. And surprisingly, they will go for someone else who is cheaper and not reliable, but they will make sure that their journey will make sense. They have to confirm with me because they trusted me for a previous work that I've done for them. So it does sounds very attractive for them to get that almost for free and then decide on their own under the pressure of the fact that, you know, either they do it themselves or they do it with me. I think this is the best strategy for what I'm doing.
No, this is what actually works, right? So because they get a free strategy session is what we call it.
Yeah, that's exactly
right. But the strategy session, it really is because you're going to ask them questions that give them clarity. And then at the end, you're going to say, now listen, you know, based off, you know, because when I start the call, I'm like, all right, so here's how the call goes. I'm going to start off by just asking you some questions about where you're at, and we're going to see if you're a good fit and if I'm a good fit for you. And, you know, at the end, you'll be able to ask some questions. But the big thing here is finding out, is it, you know, how can we help you? And let's get you helped out. So they're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I'll be like, all right, great. So what is the big thing that you're after, right? And we go through this process. At the end, I go, you know, if they actually do qualify after the questions I ask them, it's a 12-step process we go through.
Amazing. I would need that right away.
Yeah, I'll
right
give
now.
it to you. Yeah. So we're on that call, and then at the end, if they do qualify based off the questions I've asked them, they go, well, okay. And then I'm like, well, let me ask you this. You know, you qualify and everything. Would you like me to share with you what it is that we do? Oh, yeah. No, that's why I got on this call. Okay, cool. So what we do is we help, and I have this little process. It takes about 3 minutes that you share with what do you do? And then you go, so do you have any? And then after you do all that, you're like, so do you have any questions? Well, yeah, how much is it?
I get this already, you know, and after that you just go because it might be expensive or they have another offer. That's basically what it is.
I always do this. I'm like, well, it's normally $9,800, but you know, what we found out is people that take things seriously and get started right away, they always end up to be some of our best clients. And so for that very reason, we have this thing called our
followers too. I was following you today. Buzz Light One. I was there.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
That was me,
Yeah. So that's what you do. And you're like, normally it's $9,800, but you know, if you get started right away, we're going to knock $4,000 off the investment and it's only $5,800. And then you shut up.
Awesome. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah,
and I mean, some people are, and then I just mute my phone because you're going to want to say something because it's just dead silence. And they're like,
take your time.
They're like, are you still there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. And then I mute
sense.
my phone again. And then you hear like
psychology.
you hear them like checking their account and all this stuff. You hear them like shuffling papers, and they're like, "Are you still there?" And I'm like, I unmute my phone. Yeah, no, I'm here still.
Mm,
And they're waiting for you to
absolutely.
get them off the hook.
Yeah,
And they're like,
makes
well,
sense.
could you break it up into a couple payments?
Yeah, I think about it.
I mean, if I did, could you get started right now? Yeah. And then, okay, great. Yeah, let's do it. And then you get them going, right?
That
So,
makes sense.
but you've got to have that funnel, and you've got to get people coming in that are, they're qualified, and then they got to meet that qualification.
Yeah.
They get on that scheduled call. That
Another
process right
big
there
thing
is
as well,
powerful.
that the fact is qualifying someone is not the end. He would need to get the license, and there's a massive market for consultancy and support and stuff like that. That's a massive upgrade. And the numbers, I mean, the amount of charge that you're talking about, thousands of dollars, like, and they know that, and they are happily doing it, because
Yeah,
if he became a licensed provider for, let's say, an electrician or plumber, one job will cover the whole cost for the whole
that's
thing that they
right.
have been investing with, you know?
Yeah, and that's what's so great about your offers. You can justify your price really easily.
Hmm.
With a lot of my clients, that's why I always ask them, what is a customer worth to you over the course of 12 months? And they're like,
Yeah.
25,000. I'm like, well, this is only $5,000. If you get one customer, you make all your money back 4 times over. And guess what? You can get hundreds, if not thousands of customers using this. All right, let's do it. Because it just instantly, you can unlock the math, and it's like, yeah. So, what I say is you really want to get this thing in place, this funnel here, because on the calendar page, this is what it looks like. When they click that button underneath, it takes them to this page right here. There's nothing you can do on here besides book a free strategy call. And then when they go to book the free strategy call, so they click here, they go, 2:30, confirm, and then look, name, email, best phone number, what's your website?
Done.
Who do you sell? Who do you serve? What is a customer worth to you in 12 months? What is your current monthly revenue? What's the core thing you want our help with? Please use detail. How did you find out about us? Send text messages, and then they schedule the event. I get an email. I get it pre-schedules into my Google Calendar. I get an email that has these survey questions in it, and I look through the questions, and I either say, yeah, I'm going to get on that call, or no, and I'm going to email them and say, I don't think right now is a good time, but if I'm wrong, please tell me how I'm wrong.
Makes sense. They take the step.
And then, well, what happens then is, like, you're not wasting time on phone calls. You're talking to people that are like, and when you do that with somebody, they're like, man, I'm dealing with a pro here. And it just changes the whole paradigm. And people
change
look at
the
you
pricing too, change lots of things,
Understand. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. And I haven't seen any provider does that. They are really bending all the way.
Well, it's like, I mean, that's just not the way to do it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like a parent that's like, if you do that one more time, we're going home. And then they do it again, and you don't take them home.
Makes sense. Yeah.
They're like, I can get away with that.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, lots to be done. Alrighty. You pretty much covered everything. I'm very glad that I have this customized consultation with you at that time. I really appreciate it. The only thing
week,
is,
man, every
I will
week.
be here. I can't miss your TikToks. I'm there all the time. I wait for you, and it's amazing. You have a very inclusive way of doing things. I really like you for that fact. You are assertive, professional. I didn't like the ask you to show the house. Like, I don't think it's relevant. I believe that you're a very real person without even showing nothing. I didn't like it. So anyway, in terms of having a soft phone and phoning system, and how should I engage this communication and CRM and stuff? Do you recommend to charge that back or implement it into your ecosystem, or should I keep this separate and just care about the leads and building the list and whatever we discussed now?
I think the most simple way to go about this is not changing really anything that you're doing right now and trying to like twist it or change it or add to it or whatever. What I would do is just whatever you're doing now, just continue doing that. But as you're doing it, I would get this funnel set up. I would connect it to Calendly and ActiveCampaign and just get the machine set up over here on the side.
Yep.
And then I would start
So
driving
build lab
traffic
on the side,
Yeah.
and then what I'm doing.
Just keep doing what you're doing now because it does pay the bills and it does bring it in, even though it doesn't do it the way you want it to. That's why we're doing
Absolutely.
this thing over here on the side, right? To get
Yes.
it to do more.
Yep.
But then as you're building this over here on the side, when this thing starts to outdo this thing over here, then you slowly shift out the old thing and move the new thing in front of it.
Perfect.
And what will
Makes sense.
happen is you're going to get your time back. And you're going to be
Absolutely.
dealing with completely different types of people. And as you
Yes.
put yourself out there and create content,
Yes.
man, I'm
Yes.
telling you, when somebody gets on the call with you, I've had people, and it's so silly to me all the time, still to this day, but people get on, they're like, is this actually Mike? Am I actually talking to Mike from YouTube? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so popular.
Same
You
feeling
know?
that I have right now.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's really me, you know, and it's like, I'm like just this guy, right? Like,
You
I don't
deserve
feel
it.
like anything, you know, I'm like,
Well, you
yeah, oh
deserve
yeah,
it.
yeah, it's me, you know, but it's like, no, you know, there's like, but what I'm saying is that's what happens when you do content, put yourself out there. People like, it's a completely different type of lead than just some person saying, hey, go check this person out, because they've actually already been helped by you with your content. So they have this like weird feeling of reciprocity inside of them. They're like, thank you. And then at the same time, you've got this like itty bitty micro celebrity thing just because you were this person out there providing value.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so when you get on the phone with them, it's a completely different conversation. And it's they're like wanting you.
That's true.
And when you tell them they have to then qualify and they get to speak to you before, like, it's so cool.
Absolutely.
It's like probably the best and highest converting. The call funnel is what we call it, the VSL call funnel.
VSL funnel. Yeah.
It is probably the highest converting thing ever. I mean, it's just so powerful.
It's absolutely not an ad approach. I remember your talk when you said that an ad is a divorce relationship. It's just, building nothing. They hate you. They hate the ads. The way to go is building content, adding to it every day. And I believe that's the way to go. I have a last question. So I don't want personally to, like, I'm not afraid of making content, but the fact is the education is very dynamic. And I'm just worried that if I started doing certain content for tradies and any other domain, any other industry, I will be attached to that. I will be very sticky. I won't be able to shift people perspective about me if I start doing another content for another qualification, another industry. Is there any harm if I use someone else to represent specific domain and industry or sub qualification of a main qualification, stuff like that? Yet that will be in the funnel and keep myself maybe for a specific product, let's say, which is higher ticket, higher value and stuff like that. Like, let's say I get a qualified childcare experienced consultant to represent the video in approaching, prospective students in childcare industry, for instance. Get a specified personal experience to promote and run the show at specific funnel when I'm doing that. And then I keep doing the same, like getting eggs around like that.
Yeah.
Do you recommend this?
I think that, like, so for me, I'll have like a $97 a month program. I'll have the $5,800 program. And then I'm going to have like a $36,000 per year in-person mastermind that I do. I'll be the front face on the $97 program, the next one. But here, I mean, what I'm trying to say is when you're doing it, they're gonna, well, we talked about this earlier. people come to me not because there's not other people doing what I do. It's because they get to know me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're doing like with the qualifications and stuff like that, like let's say, are you trying to say is specific as like, hey, if you want to be a, pipe fitter, or
Yeah.
something like that, and you're wanting to try to get qualified, that kind of thing. What you want to think about is like, let's just talk about getting qualified for these things in general.
Okay, gotcha.
So that you're not, because see, I did that too. I was like, what I'm teaching you right now, I said I only teach to martial arts business owners. And it was like the dumbest thing I ever did in my life, because not because it wasn't a great industry. And I mean, we did really good there, but then I couldn't do it for anybody else because they're like, well, if I'm not a martial arts business owner, you can't help me. I'm like, well, I can actually. It's the same exact thing that, but I screwed myself up because I got so specialized. And all my content was like, if you're a martial arts business owner, that's how everything started out. And so, but the process is the same for them as it is for anybody.
Makes sense.
So what I should have done is what I'm doing now, where I'm like, so if you're a business owner, so for you, it's like, if you're somebody that wants to get into certain trades, whether it's this, it doesn't matter. What are you going to do to get qualified? How are you going to get that job? Well, I'm going to share 3 things with you that must happen for you to be able to do that. And you're not going to get into the specifics for a plumber versus an electrician, because that happens later. That's where it's like they all come to you and then you split them off to wherever they need to go.
I have to. They have to be introduced to a qualified senior trainer and a CISA who will be actually managing their file. This is part of the process.
Right.
So yeah, keep going.
So what you want to do is you want to be, because you're the middleman. It's
Yes,
like them, you, and then whatever trade they choose or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what they could be a plumber type, an electrician type, carpenter type. They can all come to you for the same thing. Get qualified for your trade position.
Yeah, that's an amazing video. I already made it.
Okay.
I just write it now.
Once you get to me, we'll fit you and suit you with the best possible place so that you can get there the fastest, easiest, the best, blah, 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 blah. So when you're speaking into your content, it can just be you, because nobody knows this better than you. And you've got a great personality. And if you want to have somebody else do it, go for it. Just the thing is, you're going to have to try it. But I think a lot of times, you can just keep this really simple, and your content can just be, listen, if the content solves a problem and it really helps that person, if you're consistent with that content and you do it the way we teach, where I, create a long piece, cut it up into short pieces, and you stick it out there, you are going to be blown away by what it can do. So, you might create a piece of content that's like 5 or 10 minutes long. And it's like, listen, if you're somebody, you're wanting to get into a specific trade, whether it's this, it doesn't matter. You've got to get qualified, right? So I'm going to share in this video 5 different things that people overlook when trying to get qualified for their specific position. You do that video, you chop that video up into like the 5 different things, you chop them up in each of their own thing, and you're distributing that out there. Those little videos feed them to the big video. The big video feeds them to the funnel. The funnel gets them on the appointment. Done. So you can talk in general about what you do to qualify people and who all qualifies, because when you do it that way, the employer can hear that too. And you might do some videos like that. Hey, you might be an employer looking for a specific trades type person, and you're going, amazing. How do I get them qualified? Who do I go to qualify these people that want to be here? I don't even know how to find them. I'm going to show in this video 3 things that employers can do to get qualified trades to their people. You do that video, you spread that out, you send that to your email list. And now you're growing an email list of people that are qualified, and you keep feeding that into them. Like every time I go create a YouTube video, I send it out to my email list every time. And I try to create one a day. Some weeks I have crazy weeks. It doesn't happen. But I always create small content. I always have, like, if you'll see here, I'll show you. Just to give you an idea here. I'm going to pop my screen up here. Hold on. I'll just show you. So like today, I wanted to create a YouTube video, but I had a lot of calls today. I had different things going on. So let me see here. Okay. So here's what I've always got. I've always got some videos that are up that I can, like, these are like 3 different videos that I did. So like, I'll go to, like, here's my little vertical canvas, because we got to do vertical, right? For TikTok and stuff like that. I'll go to like this video. This is an old YouTube video I did. And I'll come in here and I'll be like, I'll come find a spot in the video and I'll be like, all right. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just chop this out right here. And then I'll listen to like where it sounds pretty good. And I'll be like, okay, well, this is a little 30-second piece. I'll copy this. And then I just stick it in my little editor over here. And I'm like, boom. Now I've got a little, this will be my TikTok here. Okay. And I'll create this little video here. Look, it's only 12 seconds long. And then this is my little TikTok. I'll come up here, I'll airdrop it to my phone, and then I'll put it out on TikTok, Instagram Reels. I'll put it on YouTube Shorts, Twitter. And I just, every day I'm putting out some little piece every day out into the marketplace. And then when they're at my profile, when they're at my little Twitter or my Instagram or whatever, they then click up on the links, they go over to the funnel and they become leads. And then when I create a new YouTube video, when I get the whole video done, because this whole video is this whole video is 16 minutes. I email that whole thing out to the list. So they're finding me through these little bits and pieces, and sometimes the big one. And then I'm always sending them to something. And if you go to like my YouTube, everywhere on my YouTube, it's like in all my videos, let me go to like my channel here. So at my channel, they can click this button here. If they click this button right here on my banner, whoops, what just happened there? If they click this little video or this little link here, so they click it, guess where they go? Right here. Only thing they can do on this page is opt in, right? If they're watching one of my videos, like let's say they're watching this one here, in the video, I have up here, let me click away. Up here, I've got free training, makeonce.com. If they go to makeonce.com, so they come up here, they type in, they go to make one. Oh, how to build. Oh, okay. And then only thing they can do is opt in. If they go down here in the description, of my video, it's like, attention all entrepreneurs and online business owners. Are you tired of struggling to get traffic conversions for your website? You know who wrote this? ChatGPT. So if they come down here, look, all they can do is go to my website, right? Boom, click it. They turn into a lead. So everything that you click on of mine, like if we were to go to my Instagram, you go to my Instagram, go to my profile. If you're looking at my Instagram, I help people get new customers daily using the internet. Watch how it works. If they click here, guess where they go? Boom. So everything I have is pointing right to this same page. Okay. If we go to my TikTok. Okay. If I click up here on my profile, notice how I use the same profile picture on every account.
Yeah, so
that way they start to recognize me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here, if they go here, look, free, my funnel, automations, and free training, how to get customers online. They click this, guess where they go? Yeah, open anyway. Boom, they're right here. So I'm just every day, more people are opting into my list. And on the next page, on this right here, when they opt in, they go to this page. And here's that free training where I show them how to attract, convert, the problem, don't know how to attract, don't know how to convert, don't know how to automate, don't understand the daily flow. And then down below, I'm like, here's all the stuff you get when you buy my program. Here's what we cover inside of it. Ready to start bringing in more customers on autopilot, and then they can sign up. So, you know, that's what you need to have in place as well. Okay, if they go over to my Twitter, same exact thing here. They click up, no, click, if they go to, I think home, let's see here. No, I got to click on this. If they're here, look, same banner, makeonce.com. I help people create high-ticket digital products, get customers using automated power of the internet. Go watch the training. Click here, same place. So everything that I'm doing is makeonce.com, makeonce.com. I'm just pushing people to that same funnel. Everything that I do, are you an online business, email, copywriting principle? Like everything I'm doing, how we turn traffic into leads, constantly just posting content, make content, get targeted people. I'm constantly just putting this stuff up. Get your email in the inbox. Okay. Next thing, did it at Simple Gear for going live. I'm just teaching them what I do to help them solve their problem. It's the same thing you do. Here's how we take people that want to get into trades positions and get them jobs. Here's exactly what we do to get you that. They go, I need that. And then you're always sending them back to that funnel. You're always constantly sending them back to that funnel. That makes sense?
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense.
And then for you, instead of it going to that next page where it, you know, it's just a sales page, yours, it'll go to that video page. And then when they click the button on the video page, so, you know, when this page opens up and there's that video with the button underneath it, when they click that button, it's going to take them to the calendar page, and they'll land here where they're going to schedule a call. So instead of them going and buying the product like they do with me, they're going to go instead to you and schedule that call.
Perfect.
That makes sense?
Perfect sense. Absolutely. Nailed it.
Yeah. So, and then you just get in kind of a, you know, it seems like a lot in the beginning. Like, it's like, oh my gosh.
I've gone, to be honest with you, like I've gone through lots of setups. I mean, like I've done Wix.com, I've done WordPress. I've been around, and I didn't got what I needed. Would you recommend demolishing the website that I have and go with whatever in the ecosystem that you are providing, like getting AI?
What I would say is, I've got everything for you inside of the program already set up and ready.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's just going to go faster. Everything's going to work the way we're talking about it here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't demolish anything. I wouldn't change anything about anything right now. I would just go create this separate thing over here.
Should I take off the domain name and just stick it on your funnel? And
I wouldn't. I would just go buy another cheap domain name and call it something separate.
Okay.
Because think of it as like a tool in your toolbox.
Sense. That's basically everything covered here. Is there any tips of that gets me faster to cover up the whole program? Would you recommend me to go to certain areas in the programs to be able to get my funnels out there, or should I just go slowly and steady?
I mean, what I would do is this is how I tell people to move through the program. When I go through a program, like, I typically just listen to the whole thing and don't do anything. This is my process. This is my process. I just listen to it like it's a Netflix series, and I just go through it, and I just sit there with my note paper and pad, and I take little notes as I hear things
all the time.
Yeah. And then I go back through it, and I'm like, okay, now let's get into this, because I just want to get I want to get hit with everything. My brain's like, okay, now I know what to look forward to, what's coming here. And then a lot of people, they'll now I used to not think this way. I'm like, all right, listen, go through the course, step by step, click by click. And then, do the action items. But sometimes it's better to just go all the way through it and just listen. And then you kind of like know where to, it's like skimming through a book.
Yeah.
Just go
Okay.
through it and kind of like look through it, and then you can go back and read the specific articles that you need to read.
Makes sense.
So I just listen to it. I'm like, I'll tell you the honest truth. Like if I was listening to my own course, I'd put the speed on double speed.
I do that right away. I get that done.
And I just, I'm like, I just go through it real fast. And I'm like, okay, I need to go back to that part.
Yeah.
You know, this is where I need to start. But inside of the training, the cool thing is the new training that's going to come out is going to be very, very hyper specific on like the
How much
steps.
is it? How much should I pay the difference, or it's the
No,
same
no.
price?
You get it already.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, you already get it.
It's
Like when the new version comes out, you already get it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So once you pay with me, you're in basically for life. I mean,
That's the best.
yeah.
That's the best way. I think what you're offering is the value of what you're offering is an absolutely amazing. I would say like you're mentoring, partnering, supporting. You do the whole thing. You add so much departments. You know, I really like that. That
It's what you
approach.
need though. You know,
Yeah, that's
it's like
true.
what you really actually need to get it done. And I mean, I'll tell you, like I would just go through the program. I've got inside of there, you know, if we go to, let's see, if you go inside, let's see here. So I'm going to show you here and we'll jump off. So if you get into Build Lab here, if you go into the classroom, see like under the funnels, I give you like, here's my pre-built funnel template, connect your domain, website editor help section, overall help. So this is like setting up that funnel. And then here's the website. But I would just focus on getting the funnel set up. And then the next one is like, here's the email automations. And then I give you my email automations, like what those look like. I show you how to set up the emails and then how to connect system.io to ActiveCampaign and get this all put together. So I would just go, you know, this one's like 15 minutes. This one's like 25 minutes. I would just go through all the videos. Okay. Just get through all the videos. And then like, you probably don't need the digital offers one because you're not creating a course or anything, but the new Build Lab, because this is the beta, the next one that's coming out, this one will be enhanced. It's you know, really going to teach a lot about how to actually create like a high ticket program that you can sell.
Yeah,
right?
affiliates and stuff like that.
Well, not even really affiliates, just how let's say that you're an expert at fishing, you're going to create a course to teach other people how to become good at fishing.
Yeah.
So, but I'm also creating another program that's going to be perfect for what it is that like you're doing, and you get it already. Other people will have to pay $97 per month to have access to this thing.
Subscription based.
Yeah, you'll already have it.
Yes.
And it's going to be called, it'll be like when you go to the classroom, there'll be another course in there that you'll have access to. And it's going to be called the Automated Customer Blueprint. That program is going to go deep into how to attract and convert new customers, kind of a lot about what we've been talking here today.
Yep.
So, but in here, what you really need is you need this funnel. Okay.
Perfect.
You need to get the email automations connected to the funnel.
Perfect.
And that's really what you, and then this video sales letter, like how to actually create that video sales letter. Like these videos here will help you because I walk through, you know, this is a funnel here I'm walking through, and then filming and editing, putting it together. That'll really help you a lot. So, and then just keep getting on these calls. I'll help you with that stuff too, you know?
Yeah, that's absolutely customized for my business.
Yeah.
I wouldn't miss out on another call. I think I'll just be there all the time till I get my thing out there.
Yeah, I mean,
Mike,
bring me your stuff and we'll talk about it together. Like you can share your
absolutely.
screen and we can be like, here, let's check this out. Let's change the headline.
Yeah, I would say that all the traditional way of making education and or anything that we used to 20 years back is reinventable now. I think the ecosystem that you have can help lots of students. Even in the classic existed education system, there's so much areas that you can consult and invent and help out. For example, admission. So if how many thousands of students moving from specific countries, say from Asia to America or Europe, there are thousands of them every single year, and all of them looking for a single piece of information. And there are so many providers out there, and it's so much haphazardly distributed, and nobody is the best in everything. I think what you're offering here is a framework that fits lots of things in education industry,
And
and I'm
that's,
very glad.
I mean,
I'm very
that's what
glad.
we're doing is like, this is the e-learning industry. And like here's what happens, like in the position that you're in now, what happens is you've got an expertise already. And as you go, you get more expertise, but it's like during the gold rush in California, when everybody was going to California to find gold, the people that actually made all the money were the people that were selling the shovels.
Oh my God. Different industry.
Well,
They're not miners.
they were the people that allowed the miners to get the gold.
Makes sense.
So
Makes
that's kind of
sense.
what the e-learning industry is. If
Makes
you don't
sense.
know how to do something, you can't do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we're selling the shovels here,
Absolutely, 100%.
the tool that gets you the gold.
You are the factory.
If we give you the shovel and we show you how to dig up the gold, now you can go find as much gold as you want.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So that's what this industry is. And like what happens is, like with what you're doing, eventually the way that you really make a lot of money is when you turn and teach people how you make money. Like you're teaching other people how to maybe do what you're doing.
You make it, if a qualified engineer or and builder gets qualified and give me, let's say, a review, or he got the license via my service, you know how many will be just coming out the way from a specific deal that's been successfully done.
And you
And
know
it
what you
is-
do to get that? What I always do to get like reviews and stuff, I just haven't popped it in my group yet. But what I do is I'll create a very like powerful training that shows them like some next level thing.
Mhm.
And instead of them, and this is for my current customers, so it'd be like for you and all the other people, right? I'll say, listen, I created a very special training that shows you how to do X, Y, and Z, and it's something that you really dearly want to know.
Mhm.
And I'll say, the only thing you have to do to get access to that training is give me a 1-minute video testimonial, and I'll give you access to that training.
Oh wow, that's a killer thing.
So
That's
now
very
all of a
smart.
sudden, because they want it really bad,
Yeah, makes
and you
sense.
just got 200 video testimonials that you can stick on your YouTube channel.
This is just a killer. That's amazing. You don't need even your leads. You just come out ringing.
And then you take
sending
all those
emails.
video testimonials and you email them to your list. You're like, here's so-and-so talking about our program.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Would you recommend engaging the consultants that work behind me at certain stage, like after the payments being made and all this logistics being done? I think I just run my business normally. I just engage professionals and run the business, so they don't have to be engaged at the front line of the ecosystem that we're discussing now. They don't need to know. I don't need to get in details. Okay, makes sense.
Because that doesn't change anything for them other than the fact that when you do your job, they get to do theirs.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Mike, it's just so much pleasure that I had today meeting you.
No, I'm
And the
excited,
fact
man.
that
You're asking incredible questions, and I can tell you've got that excitement, that energy. And what's
Thanks so
crazy
much.
is you get lifetime access to these calls twice a week.
Amazing.
Yeah, forever.
That's amazing.
Isn't that sweet?
It's amazing.
It
I'm
is.
telling everyone out there, we're very lucky enough to have Mike here in the community. Thanks for everyone makes these things happening. And thanks for the opportunity, Mike, that I had that almost 2 hours one-on-one with you when you charge 8,900 for it. I got it almost for free. Thanks very much, man. God bless you and your family and everybody here in the community. Really
All right,
happy
man.
and looking forward to meet you again. So when
I'm
would
very
be the next meeting?
So
Like
here's what
Zoom?
you do. So inside of the build lab here, okay? Just go to the calendar
Calendar, yeah.
and just go. There's every Monday and every Thursday. You see that?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So you'll just go, depending on where you're at and what time,
Yeah.
like here, you just come here, click on it, and then you just register for that.
Perfect.
Okay. Makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That's easy done.
Cool. Yep. Just like you jumped on today. Yeah. Just go to the
Yeah.
calendar.
That's it, mate.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. We'll
All
catch
right.
up.
Well, you have a good night. I'll
You
be on
too.
again at those other times. But if you
Yeah.
have any other questions, just jump into the community and ask questions inside of there, and I'll be sure to help you. Okay.
Thank you, Mike. Good
All
night.
right. You
Thanks
have
so
a
much.
good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye bye.